That's us. Emperor's Night, good enough for a car wash.
For a free car wash.
Yeah, for a free car
How
wash.
bad does the music have to be that you turn down the free car wash?
The free car wash will be worth it.
Yeah.
Knock him out the box, Rick. Knock him out, Rick. Knock him out the box. This is 2 out of 3
Yes.
of the band.
Yes.
Notice how we
Emperor's
answer in
Knights.
unison there. We're well trained. Emperor's Night. That's us.
Emperor's Night.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Emperor's Night.
So tell me about yourselves. Tell me about Emperor's Night. And
I guess we're 3 brothers.
Yeah.
That's where it starts, I guess, the whole story.
okay.
If you're in the band, you're a brother. If you're not in the band,
You're out.
Yeah, that's it. Well, you
You're
got to be
not
a brother.
in the band, you're not a brother.
Yeah, I got to work on that sentence. Anyway, so we're a band. We're a rock band from New Zealand originally. We lived in Australia for many years, like many New Zealanders do. We got a 20-song original live set come together. It's quite a lot of songs for a new band to have come together, and to a really high standard, we felt. We were living in a small coastal town in Australia at the time. Not a lot of opportunities to play live, so we
Yeah.
decided to pack up and move, go to a city. Melbourne was an option. It's a great live music scene, but we wanted to go bigger, so we came to North America. We went to Toronto, first of all. We knew some people. So end of 2019, sold everything, moved to Toronto. A few shows in, the pandemic arrived and shut everything down.
Of course.
Which was, you know...
So we basically got stuck in Toronto for longer than we meant to.
Right.
Basically a whole year, and there was nothing to do. Like, we were going to play live shows, couldn't do that. We had backup work in restaurants, couldn't do that. So we worked as movers.
furniture movers.
Moving people's houses for about a year. Worked about 6 or 7 days a week, 10 to 15 hours a day. I got ripped.
So it helped your career.
Oh,
Yeah.
I put it all back on again as soon as I stopped.
This isn't a Toronto winter at times as well, which we'd never virtually seen snow before. Next thing, it's Toronto winters go on forever. It snowed in 7 months of the year while we were there. It was quite a new experience. So we worked hard, and we came here to LA in this January of 2021. He had a girlfriend. LA makes sense. It's the home of entertainment. Still nothing to do as far as a band, so we were determined to market ourselves in some way. We thought it's got to be something we can do in the home of entertainment. So we came up with the idea, first of all, to print a flyer, because we thought it's old school. You can drop it door to door. Online felt so full, and so on.
I think marketing yourself as a band online, it's just like there's 60,000 songs released on Spotify every day. It's like how do you go up against that kind of noise,
Right.
literal noise. Like I know that
That'd be too harsh.
I know that probably 97% of those 60,000 songs are very worthwhile.
Outstanding.
Right.
Yes.
Every single one.
Yeah, exactly.
But how do you get noticed?
And so then you can dropping flyers door to door. You can't just say listen to our music. You're gonna have a very short moment of people's attention when they look
Right.
at it. So that's what we came up with. We printed, to start with, 20,000 of those.
20,000.
Yeah, we printed
And
20,000.
how many have you given out?
25,000.
Wow.
We printed another run of 10. We've delivered door to door
This is
25,000.
brilliant, man. It's so simple and so brilliant.
Yeah. Well, thank you. We actually worked on the simplicity. Initially, the first idea was let's make a joke on like gardening services, because that's what often you get as a leaflet. It's like, do you need your lawn mowed? Garden's done. We can't help. We're a rock band. And we're like, that's kind of funny, but
We could rock it out on your garden.
what's going to be the follow-up after a laugh? And we
Right.
thought not a lot. So then we sort of went
Well, we
back.
actually did a little bit of market research even with that from the very beginning. We were kind of, okay, that's pretty good. This joke about gardening services, that's not bad. So we just
if we
printed
do say so ourselves.
we printed a couple of, it made us laugh, and that's the first step. Printed a couple at Staples and took them around the neighborhood and showed a few people who were hanging out in their front yards. And most of the people were like, what is that?
I'd probably
We
throw
said,
it out.
We said, what would you do if you got it? They're like, probably throw it out. And then as we were walking off dejectedly from
I wasn't dejected. You can talk to yourself.
as we were walking off, a guy, one of the guys yelled, put free on it. People love free stuff. And we were like,
And
could we put something free on there?
It did sort of tie in with what we discussed as well. We thought, especially being a new business, it's always better if you can give rather than ask,
Right.
because it relaxes people. If you're offering something, they get more relaxed. If you're asking for something straight up as a new thing they've never heard of, I was like, okay, who are you? What do you want? So it tied in with that.
Brilliant.
We came up with that flyer, want a free car wash. We're a rock band from New Zealand.
Right.
If you follow us on Instagram, a very small thing, we will wash your car for free.
Right.
It's kind of funny, that idea. Like, how much is a follow worth? What are you going to do for it? So it's kind of got some amusement, but what it turned into, I guess we can
And
go.
how much on tips did you make? That's what I want to know.
We generally turn them down.
Nice,
We
smart.
wanted to stick to the free. Like if people
Smart,
really went,
man.
I want to give you something, we accepted it because it's nice to allow that for people.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
we also didn't like.
Well, if people say, "Do you take tips?" we go, "No." If they come to us with money and they put it in our hand, we're like, "Okay."
Right. Yeah, it's like when your grandma says, just take the money. You just got to take it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Makes her
it's
feel good.
Sometimes it's the right thing to do,
Yeah.
but you don't want to be like, "Will you take?" and then your hands out already, sort of
Right.
thing. So yeah.
Well,
so
so we even when we did the Want a Free Car Wash one, we even juggled with the wording on that after doing a little bit of market research too. So I'm really happy that we actually thought of going out and asking some people before we made the leap and printed 20,000. We asked a whole lot of people what they thought. And to begin with, we had it a little bit more jokey as well. And we showed some people and they still didn't get it. They were like, "So what, are you a band? Are you a car washing service? What's
Right.
going on?" And so we had to make it really simple. Like, we are a rock band from New
I
Zealand.
actually came up with the phrase almost like face
It's
to face with
interesting
someone.
how like so much thought. It's simple, but you got to think it through.
It's surprising the amount of
did.
thought that went into that simplicity. Like, we had a fairly clever, funny, what we thought was way of writing it down. And I was showing some girls in an Abbott Kinney shop in Venice, and they're like, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Well, the idea is we're a rock band from New Zealand. If you follow us on Instagram, we'll wash your car for free, literally." And they both just laughed and went, "Yes." And I was like, "Okay." And we went home, we wrote it out like that. And then as soon as we showed people, most of them just laughing. I'd do that. Oh, that's funny. I'd do it.
Yeah.
So then we took the plunge and just started walking the
And I
streets door to
think-
door.
I
like
think the
postmen.
second day of dropping them, we had our first person contact us for a car wash. Actually, I think the first person to contact us told us that it wasn't really a free car wash because people have to pay for their water. They sent us a long email.
It was a very long
we were
email.
like, well, this isn't a good start.
They're
Is
like-
everyone going to think that they're going
They're
to
like, people aren't going
Anyway.
to take you up on it because it's not free because they have to pay. But like, okay. Anyway, so we had 140 followers when we started. So we had nothing. Like there's nothing to work from.
But anyway, I think the second day we got our first booking for a car wash. Went to this guy's place in Silver Lake the day after, and he turned out to be a guy in music publishing, like in the music business. Some guy in Culver City had got our flyer and had posted it to all his
I
workmates.
think it was the president of the company.
Yeah,
and he
president
sent
of the
it to
company.
all the workers.
He sent it to all the workers, going, "These guys are like they're doing something."
But
then-
they also wanted to know, would we actually do it? They
Yeah.
were still unsure.
Right,
if
So
we-
he had us up, and he was like, and then he put us when we arrived. He put us on a Zoom with the whole company, saying, "Here, I've got this band. I've got this band doing the free car wash." So that was our very first car wash. It was with a music company. So I was like, okay,
It's kind of off
that's
to a good start.
And then straight away he posted it, and then there were all these people in the music industry straight away like going, "You guys are geniuses," and we were like immediately, "Yes, we are."
Yes.
So, yeah, as a band, basically starting out our promotions, we never really
So smart,
promoted
man.
ourselves.
And adding value first. I
Exactly.
think that's something people don't
Yeah.
realize. Like, hey, can you follow me? Hey, can you
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know.
download my song? Can you listen? They're asking for something.
Yeah.
That's the natural thing you would
Of
think
course.
you want to do.
Of course.
But really, it's adding value first.
Well,
That's what changes everything.
Well, it changes everything to say, "Here, we'll do something for you."
Right.
Yeah,
and we've
yeah.
stuck to it. Basically, we've learned along the way that it really does relax people. And if we don't push ourselves forward and ask too much, you don't want to be silly about it, but
Right.
basically stick to that. People think and want to do things for you. They
Exactly.
say, "Who do I know? What can I do for you?" If we go to them and say, "Who do you know? Who can you connect us with?"
They
But
back
if-
off.
Exactly.
Right.
But if we, so I mean, we had, I think in our second week we had 180 followers. The head of marketing for the Grammys messaged us, and he said,
He got our flyer.
I think he said a really funny message about you. I guess you're looking to get to high profile people. Well, it's worked. Sort of talking
got
about
to me.
himself, and yeah, exactly, sort of thing. But and then he was just really friendly. He chatted to us for a week to suss it out, and he's like, "You know what? I don't want a car wash. Come around to my house." So like, we're this tiny band starting out, and the head of marketing for the Grammys is getting us over to his house, sits
Wow.
us down for an hour, gives us advice. Basically just as a friend sort of thing, saying, I've listened to the music, I love it. The songs are great, the marketing's great. I think then we knew we were onto something. It was at that point when sort of getting to someone like that. So
Can I just say you guys are so patient and so professional for continuing this podcast interview with a dog barking? And I'm I'm like, I keep thinking, okay, I'll stop and go put them away. But I just want to comment
You're
that
mis-
you guys are so
You're
like,
mistaken. We just love talking about ourselves.
Yeah.
We absolutely love it.
Just
It
tune
doesn't,
it
it
out.
doesn't matter what goes on. Oh, I'm talking
I
about
love
myself
that,
right
man.
now. Yeah,
I love that. I'm learning from you because I'm okay. Good. So I think we're good because I really want to like listen to you guys, and I don't want to be afraid that the dog's gonna do something.
Yeah.
So okay, good. We're free and
into the
clear.
adventure.
The hardest part's over.
Okay. So yeah, that's the basis of our story.
So I mean, that honestly is like such a huge like takeaway because
Mhm.
if you like, there's so many ways to solve the problem, man. People just usually take a direct approach.
Yeah.
Like, how did you guys? Were you guys always this creative, or like
Uh,
outside? You seem like an outside the box type of.
Yeah, I think so.
You know,
we were
thinker.
homeschooled for a number of years,
Okay,
and that really
that explains it.
promotes out of the
Homeschooled
box.
Yeah, creativity, man.
Yeah,
does, yeah.
It
You-
does because you just start. You think outside the system, and you think, okay, what can I?
Exactly.
And it seems normal to do something outside the system or do
Right.
something different, and doing something different is almost like a badge of pride.
Right,
It's like, okay, what am I going to do that's different?
right.
It also
Whereas
starts,
in school, it's like stay
Yeah.
in lines.
it
Yeah,
also
stay in
becomes
line,
just
yeah.
automatic because
Right.
you just don't have anyone else there to help form your opinions to an extent. You
Right.
just learn to form them yourself, and then you kind of get out into the real world, and you're like, I'm just used to thinking for myself. So
Right.
I think there was a degree of that in our upbringing. It helped us, and then coming to something like we feel it's there in our music. We feel it corresponds. We've got an original sound, but then something like this, which we've been told by many people in LA, they've never seen a band do it before, and everything's been done in music, but they've never quite seen this idea being done exactly.
And it requires hard work.
Yeah.
Which not everybody wants to put in the hard work. They want to get to the fun part.
Yeah,
True.
Yeah.
And then I guess like living in Toronto in the snow, moving people
Yeah.
proves that you're not afraid of hard work.
No.
So that's kind of important too.
It's
Yeah.
true.
So you must have learned that along the way.
Yeah,
There's some things that
I think we've-
you got to like learn along the way to be able to even follow through the way you guys did.
I think
So
so.
because you guys have done a lot of car washes, I'm assuming.
We done a lot
Like,
of
how
car
many
washes.
car
but,
washes,
like
just
even
curious.
dropping the flyers, that was a lot of work.
Oh my
lot of
God,
work.
man.
25,000 door to door. Like that's
You know.
a lot
And
of
you
walking.
guys dropped all the flyers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
ourselves. We dropped
just
everyone
walked.
ourselves with 25,000.
That's a
so-
lot of freaking flyers.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
walked a lot of. We walked
There were
a
days.
few miles.
There were initial days when you were still getting just your first few. You might only just have
Right.
1 or 2 car washes a day.
Who dropped the most flyers? Are you guys all hardworking?
No,
Same
we are.
level?
No, we are all.
We all are.
hardworking.
Yeah. Who did the most flyers?
I think I did.
Possibly.
I think
That's
I
like
did.
It's
more than 8,000 a person. That's a lot of flyers.
'Cause I love that
I've
feel-
passed out flyers, and
'cause
after a few hundred, you
Yeah.
just get really
Yeah.
worn out.
we did days where we did like 8-9 hours dropping flyers.
Yeah.
Like we just and that was just walking.
But it's
Wow.
kind of like a lotto ticket every time. It's like you're dropping one on the door and you just never know who's going to get
Exactly.
it.
We
It's always
had some-
exciting for me dropping a flyer.
We had some fun. We had fun along the way.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Possibilities.
exactly. I know.
You can't stop and dream about every single person that you drop a flyer for, though.
No, I know.
Gotta
but
move on.
We did have
Good guy,
encouragement all the way along. Like every day almost when you do a good fly drop, you'd have someone cool message and encourage you and say, I listened to your music, I did this.
Yeah.
Like there were really cool people that we came across. No like really high profile names as such, but a lot of very high profile behind the scenes people.
Well, that's what people don't realize. It's not about the car wash. It's about how you're interacting with somebody, that you're giving something to someone, that it's unique, and then it creates conversation. It makes people tell other people about you guys. It's so
Oh,
much
yeah.
more
There was a
than
Yeah.
surprising amount to
Yeah.
it actually, like
Yeah.
you're saying. So what it basically turned into, a car wash was a half-hour meeting.
yeah.
So we
Right.
turn up, we bring out, so part of it, we bring our boombox. So we
Mhm.
had a boombox, we play our music in the background. So they're listening to the music, and then we just get to know them. They stand out, they're like, they want to know, basically everyone wanted to get to know us. Like,
It was kind of cool also coming out of lockdown because we had a lot of people saying, you're the first new person I've met in a year. Like, there
So
was.
now they have this affinity for you as like this
Yeah.
they're never going to forget us.
Yeah.
divine being.
Yeah,
A person.
It was like a small social occasion for like quite a lot of people as well,
Right.
Because it felt safe. You're out on the street,
Right.
It's not
You're
indoors.
washing, you're
Yeah,
cleaning.
we
you're
wore
kinda
we
cleaning.
wore masks, etc. At the beginning for the first month or two, while
Right.
everyone was still doing that, and so it felt like a safe thing. But people who had stayed indoors, who had stayed
Man.
out of any socialization, were like, this is a social occasion.
You
This is so
nailed
much
it though.
fun."
It's a meeting. You're
Yeah.
creating
it
a
was.
business meeting.
Exactly.
Well, yeah.
So
And,
smart.
I mean-
Guys, are you thinking what I'm thinking? podcast car wash.
It just could work.
I'll be interviewing, of course, and then
Gee, you're sharp.
Grab
You're
a
very.
brush.
I'm seeing how sharp you are already. I get it. You lined
That's
up who was
brilliant,
doing
man.
what perfectly.
Right.
But no, so I mean, obviously, not everyone was somebody, and we didn't make it about that either. Like, it didn't matter who you were. We were happy to turn up and wash your car with the same spirit.
right.
And I think that added to it. People
Very
people
important.
sense that, because if you're kind of like, oh, this isn't it. He can't do anything for us. And some of those people could do the most for us, actually. Like, we had a chiropractor, a lady who was
Cannoli, come here. Yes, chiropractor.
we had a lady who
sorry.
was a chiropractor. You
Don't
wouldn't
forget
think-
the cannoli, man.
No, yeah,
I told you.
I haven't forgotten the cannoli. I'm not
He
looking at the
doesn't
cannoli.
like it when we forget him.
I'm following the instructions. Don't look at the cannoli. Okay?
Don't look
I
at the
don't-
cannoli, man.
I can follow instructions. We
Yeah.
had a lady who was a chiropractor. You wouldn't think that she might be able to do a lot for us. We washed her car, and then she asked us kind of an extra favor. She'd heard it we do moving, and so asked if we could move a set of drawers for her. And we're like, well, we're not movers, but yeah, we like this. We'll do it. Yes,
Right.
we basically said yes to things, and then it turns out, I mean, she actually paid us handsomely. Not that we asked her it again, but then she also put our flyers on her desk at work, and she recommended us to all her clients. Next thing, we've got a director with 50,000 followers messaging us saying, my chiropractor wouldn't stop talking about you guys. I've got to meet you now, and invites us out to his very expensive house in the hills just because this woman has been recommending us, and she did it because
Well, also, remember also, the funny thing was, she got us to move that set of drawers, but part of the reason she got us to move it was because we were picking it up from someone who worked for Live Nation.
so she was actually doing a nice thing.
So
with it.
she's a quiet sort of person, and she doesn't like blast out what she's doing. But we got to this person's house. She's like, "Oh, I work in music and stuff like that," and this, and
But-
we're like, "Oh,
But
okay."
there've been so many stories of people going, who do I know? What can I do for you? And that's because I think we
Right.
have genuinely tried to do it the same for each person.
Well, I think also like
It's like you said, when you give, people have a natural instinct to
Yeah.
want to give back. And
Yeah.
often
I think
tenfold.
Yeah, they
Because
really
they feel like,
yeah.
wow, you did something for me without, when they genuinely feel you weren't looking for something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you weren't
Like,
chasing.
well, can you buy this ticket now? Like,
Yeah, exactly.
You're like, hey,
That's
no,
it.
Yeah,
no,
we had
don't give me a
no.
tip. We just wanted to
We've been
connect.
s-
Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for the time to let us come out here and
Yeah,
talk to you.
that's it.
Thanking them
Yeah,
versus, hey, we did your car. Now what are you going to do for me?
exactly.
Well,
you
very
summed it up.
important.
That's how it went.
yeah, and the other part of it was we would do a post to begin with. We did a post for every person we did a car wash for.
Oh, wow.
And we would just talk about what it started off just saying, "Oh, hey, thanks for getting involved," and then it turned into this sort of like, for a little while there, like almost like a Humans of LA sort of thing, where I was like talking about who we met and what they
Yeah.
were like and blah 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 blah. And then we started doing too many car washes, so it got summed up into a daily one. Now it's a weekly one. But we would there was a period there where we were doing like filling up the whole Instagram box on the stories of who we'd met and what had happened and all that kind of stuff.
How would you
And
rate the car washes 1 through 10? The
our
quality.
Quality. Oh, it's
I'd
9?
give it an 8.
Why an 8?
That's pretty good for free.
Yeah, it is. Well, no, you're
Oh, I
probably
mean,
right.
it's not like a.
Not a detail. No, look,
I'm just
look I guess it
curious.
depends. I think people have almost
Are
always
they
been struck
happy
about
with
how absolutely 100%.
All right,
It's
so you guys
been-
are pretty good car washers.
Oh, we do. We take pride in that part of
It's
it.
not
We
the
do
most-
a good job.
It's not
yeah.
the most advanced. It's like.
but still,
Maybe
if it was my kids
I'm,
doing it, trust me,
I'm probably
I'd be
under-
like, thanks, but
We
I
did
need
it
to go
when
to
we
car
were
wash
kids.
now.
So we went out and knocked on doors and asked people, "Do you want your car washed for $3?"
and then
And then somehow, over the course of time, with inflation, it turned from $3 into $0. So I'm like,
we're genius at businesses. Can you tell we're just like we're really on it? And then the
Man,
more
we got clients left and right now.
the more cars we wash, it's really bizarre. The bank balance doesn't seem to have got any better. I can't work it out. But yeah, it's been quite a ride for us. We've met a lot of people. We've washed 450 cars, I think it is.
Well, I think
something like that.
another note on talking about doing it for anyone and anyone, anywhere, like of any stature, etc. I think the second or third, maybe the very second car wash we did, we sorry, I got distracted.
I was for a very quiet girl.
My apologies.
Yeah,
Yeah, she's very shy.
yeah, she was very very shy, and we turned up and she
Yeah,
she just sort of we just sort of washed the car and that was about it. And
we kind of
and then we wondered, oh, okay, is this going to be this
this-
was the second or third car wash?
Is this
that we
how
ever
the
did.
experience is going to be? Are we
Yeah,
just going to?
yeah.
Are they not going to hang out?
And
Are
then
they
a couple of weeks later, she sent us a message of her listening to our music in her car. And since then, she's come to every single one of our shows.
Awesome.
So,
man, and that's the thing.
I think almost every single show.
Creating loyal fans
Yeah.
that will show up. Because it's one thing to get people to follow you.
Yeah.
It's another thing to get them to come to your show.
Yeah, exactly.
As you know better than I know,
exactly.
but I know that. You know, you could have like 10,000 followers, but they're not maybe deep followers or connected followers. But what you guys are doing is creating real followers.
Yeah.
Like
exactly. I mean,
they're more often going to show up because they have a connection to you.
We've experienced that on Instagram because you can see people with very high Instagram follow accounts, and it doesn't really translate when they post about you to very much happening. And someone else, like you just see their followers, they're just dialed in, or they follow every word they say. So we're not trying to create some huge profile. We're just doing it bit by bit. Every follower kind of, they're kind of engaged in our story.
We should add that, like, the idea of getting Instagram followers was never the idea. It was like we were just like, okay, we'll do the free car wash, and then if we're gonna get people's attention, we might as well, collect retain them somewhere.
So they can stay
So we're like,
connected.
okay, let's do it on Instagram. We weren't really using Instagram at the time. We weren't super keen on doing a whole lot of social media, but it was just like, okay, well, if we're actually going to get their attention, let's gather them somewhere.
Which is smart. It is a good way to
of course.
It's
network all your followers, all your fans into one place. They get access to what's going on with you.
It makes sense. It builds a network.
But the idea was never like, oh, how can we get more Instagram followers? It was just like, how can we get our name out there?
I mean, so talking to the things people give him, you mentioned people giving back tenfold. One of the, probably a month or so, when we had a photographer who's a very successful photographer, done like top magazine covers and so on. He came across our story through like spreading online through a couple of people, and he said, I love this. And he messaged us and said, I want to call you and talk to you. And he says, how about if you guys wash my car, I'll give you a free photo shoot. And like, because he said, I see you guys haven't had a band shoot recently. I'll give you a whole free shoot. And so he got us out, and it turned out he did an amazing job. We're still using his photos as our profile photo, actually. He was a great photographer. But he also made like a 10-minute little documentary of the event.
He made me look about 3 times better than I actually do. So that's what I rate as photography skills on. I know, right?
But he made like a 10-minute video of the whole thing.
I need his number
really
after
cool.
the show. Getting older.
I thought you meant him for him. But
I don't care what he does. Just make me look good.
So those little things are kind of like were like boosts all along the way. Just people messaging saying we love what you're doing and so on. So although it's been a lot of work, there's been a lot of enthusiasm from people to, energize us along the way.
And then probably like a couple of months in, was that his? Sorry.
Might be. That's Canoli's.
Yep.
Canoli's always in on the action.
Yep.
Attention seeker.
Got the sparkly ball.
Right.
I think a couple of months in, we dropped quite a lot of flyers in the Hollywood Hills. It was very nice walking around the Hollywood Hills. We would drop one of us up the top and then walk down.
We had strategy. We worked it out. Exactly.
We weren't walking up and down. But some of the houses in the hills are amazing. So like dropping flyers in the hills is just a pleasure. It's like you're going on a tour of like the greatest homes in the world.
Exactly.
It's pretty cool. Entertainment lawyer in the hills got our flyer and got us around for a car wash. He took us upstairs to his house, and it's near the top, and it looks over the whole of LA. Like, really cool place. He told
You're
us
also very trustworthy chaps. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and the New Zealand accent, it kind of gets you in the door.
It's helped.
Like, like nobody's inviting me in.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, come on in. Let me show you around. Like, oh, you got a flyer? Come on in. It's the accent.
Well, there was
kind of gives
there
you
was a little bit.
Sounds
of,
friendly.
When we first started, there was a little bit of like, oh, are these guys?
Yeah, are these guys safe? A few people are pulling out because they're
LA.
They're also giving us their address.
Right.
To a person on Instagram. They're like, what's your address? We'll come out.
But once they meet you guys, they're like, oh, come on in.
And once we had the profile of us, once we had the profile of all these washes we'd done, people started to relax more and more.
But anyway, so he took us up and showed us upstairs.
Because I did see like when I was kind of just looking at your profile.
Yeah.
I saw like, oh, tech, hit me up for a free car. And I wasn't sure if it was just a kind of a joke.
Yeah.
But I thought, oh, that's smart, man. And then I texted you guys a little icon because you just say, text me the car picture.
Yeah. That was my genius idea.
And right away, and you guys are very responsive. Right away, you're like, oh, hey, did you want a car wash?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, right before the podcast.
Yeah.
Like, oh, yeah. But,
just to make sure how we do this.
But
sort
you
of thing.
did it. Yeah. I was wondering. I'm like, Are they going to be responsive, or is it just kind of a gimmicky thing?
Well,
and I think it's brilliant that you didn't make it a gimmick, that you did it all the way.
That was the whole
Very
difference
smart.
for us. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That this isn't a gimmick because I think people do those sort of attention grabbing things and say, now I've got you, just listen to my music.
Exactly.
And no, it wasn't
Clickbait.
that. Yeah, that's it. Oh my, I can't tell you how mad I get when I read an article headline and then I read and I follow through and I'm trying to find what the headline, and I was like, it doesn't match.
Right.
There's nothing here.
Right.
I'm like, who can I report this
All
to?
right. Well, now we've got onto the real subject of today.
Right.
Bud's,
anyway,
Bud's grievances with clickbait.
That's good. Clickbait. Let's
Sorry,
talk about
I sat up straight.
I'm
and
leaning
like,
in.
right,
Let's talk about it. I was going to say, so, so by the way, I'm talking to Bud and Anand,
Yep.
That's right.
right? A-N-A-N-D.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Anand.
Bud, we know how to spell. I'm about to light some up.
Uh-huh.
And then your brother that isn't here,
Yes.
what's his name?
Dion. D-H-Y-A-N.
Dion.
D-H-Y-A-N.
Yeah.
Dion.
Dion.
Oh, cool. My brother's name's Jan.
Oh, okay.
Without the
Good.
D.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'll try to remember it that way.
Yeah. That,
But why? Like, I want to know why you guys are working so hard. Like, what makes you guys move to Toronto, move shit, then come here? And are you doing this full time, or you guys are doing?
we have been up to
working
up to the last few nights where Dion is actually not here because he's just got a casual job because. We've been stretching our finances, as it were, doing a free car wash. Exactly. We've been so we're just looking to get some extra work now, but as things go on. But we are just starting to monetize our product. I think we're starting to do merchandise and starting a supporters club where people can subscribe and these sort of things. But up to now,
We're testing those things.
So the reason why we're
Yeah.
doing this, because we really believe in our music.
Yeah.
We actually think we've got an outstanding product.
Yeah.
So
I've
that's
often said that to people. It's like you wouldn't drop,
Exactly.
how many?
25,000.
25,000 flyers and wash 450 cars. You wouldn't do that unless you really believed in the product.
And it's not about it.
That's
Hasn't
what I'm
been
It's
saying.
not
about-
just a bit of fun in a garage.
and it's not
Right.
it's not just chasing a dream, as it were, and thinking that this is what I want to do. It's what we think we should do because that's where our best skills lie.
Yes.
We really believe that's what we have to offer, and that's the best thing we can do. So we're committed to it because of that.
I mean, we're just trying to. This is part of really the main reason for this podcast is to help people do what they're really passionate about.
Music
Don't
is,
fall prey to just taking any job. You have a talent. There's a skill, a talent, a passion. Lean into that. You're gonna be more successful in the long run.
yes,
In
Even
the
though
long
right
run,
now you guys
yes.
are investing in yourselves.
exactly.
That's why you got to do what you got to do to make ends meet. The car washes, the flyers. You're investing all that time and energy into yourselves, and you got to have kind of, really strong faith in yourself or in the process or in whatever you believe in.
It does get tested.
Makes you, of course.
Everyone who's successful probably knows that at some point they've been
Yes.
tested, and particularly probably in creative fields. I mean, look, there can be people have extreme stories in every field, but often in creative fields because it's maybe more of a subjective opinion whether or not you're good. It can take a lot to push through. So for some people more than others, but we feel it's worth it. We're convinced that that's where we're best for us. We think in a matter of fact way, not in an American Idol kind of way. But
Right.
and then you hear us sing.
Exactly.
You're like, oh yeah.
I was gonna say,
And then,
I haven't
I'm
heard.
glad you do good car washes.
now we're cutting the podcast right here because we just heard them sing.
Have you considered car washes and poetry? Spoken word?
So what he was saying before about one of the cool parts was when we...
Are you taking that story now?
Yeah. It's a good story. It's like
Holy
competing
Steve.
over the best stories.
I'm carrying on with that story.
Okay, all
Yeah,
right.
are you the
okay.
only 3 siblings?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
Wow. Okay.
So, yeah, if there had been more, they probably would have been part of the band.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we can just digress very briefly, and I'll tell you the story
please.
about the guy in the Hollywood Hills.
I would love to.
So yeah, he's an entertainment lawyer. He got us over for the car wash, took us upstairs, showed us his beautiful view over it was a very modern sort of looking house as well, very cool. He told us it was built by Barry Gibb from the Bee Gees.
Oh my God.
He said, "Do you know who the
I
Bee
love
Gees
it.
are?" We went, "Yeah."
They're
He
from
said,
Australia. Right?
Yes, Britain and Australia.
Originally,
Yeah.
but they lived, like us as Kiwis, they also lived in Australia quite near
Also,
to where
they're
we did.
Kiwis.
No, that's sorry.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
saying
Yeah, yeah,
they
yeah.
were British, we were Kiwis, but they
Got
and
it.
us, we both grew up a lot of the time in Australia.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
actually about an hour from where they did, so we're fairly close
Yeah,
by.
So
yeah.
is there a similar music style too?
I think a focus on melody That's about the closest. There's no tight
Nobody
pants.
gets to
Beautiful song.
right.
No,
Dude, the Bee Gees are like.
Yeah.
and they wrote a
Dude,
lot of love.
I mean, not John Travolta, just because
Yeah.
I have the image of John
Yeah,
Travolta and
exactly. I
Saturday
get
Night
it.
Fever
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
the Bee Gees, and it was just
They wrote a lot of love songs. I think we
Yeah,
write a
man.
lot less love songs.
But
yeah,
anyway,
so
filming in a house built by the. Sorry, I've jumped.
Oh
ahead.
no, you
I
spoiled it.
almost spoiled
Oh,
the story.
no,
okay,
no,
okay.
it's not that good a
Okay. You're taking too long to tell.
No,
it.
I'm
That's the
not.
problem.
It's because we're going off on strands.
You've had too much whiskey. He's definitely had too much whiskey.
Where's that bottle?
Okay, I'll let him tell the
Oh
story.
yeah, where is
No,
the
no,
I'm
he's
bottle?
not
joking. I've got plenty.
Rick, let him be. Let him
Yeah,
be.
yeah,
Okay,
I know. This
no,
is gonna
yeah.
get out of control. All right, you're cut off, man. Anan, just
So he takes us upstairs, and the view's like awesome. And he says, "Do you want to film a music video here for free?" And we were like, "Okay."
I
Yeah.
think that's within our budget.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly it.
Free car wash, free music
And
video.
then he told
Works
us.
well.
Then he
It's a
told
good
us.
trade-off.
Then he said, there's a lot of people have filmed here. He said, do you know who Rihanna is? And we were like, yes, we do. Yes.
I think I've heard of her.
Yeah, exactly. But
He said she's filmed in this house.
yeah, she filmed in the house, and
Wow.
Yeah.
so he bought it himself off Mark Ruffalo a few years ago. So it's
So
cool, and it's got cool pop art all over the
Right.
walls, and it's a cool.
So
spot.
speaking of
It's a
budget,
legit Beverly Hills.
well,
exactly,
yeah,
Hollywood
yeah.
Hills.
It was
Normally-
just above Sunset Strip, actually. Yeah.
Normally would have been slightly above our budget.
Right.
To be a house, exactly,
Yeah.
normally. But when he said, "Would you like to film here?" and then he said, "Actually, let me hear the song you do here," and I played him the song, and about 30 seconds, he's like, "Okay, that's fine, that's good. You can film here." And he told us we could film there for free.
Yeah. And then he set us up with a really good actress as well, because being an entertainment lawyer, he had a lot of connections. Stephanie, she appeared in the video. She's an amazing actress. We're surprised she hasn't blown up yet, but I think she will. So we were very lucky to get her involved, and she just joined in on the shoot for free. And then also a guy we washed a car for about a week earlier, Eric Zimmerman. He is a cinematographer, and he filmed music videos for Daft Punk, the Rolling Stones, Guns N' Roses, etc. We washed his car. He lived around the corner from us, and he said, I'll come along and help you guys out on the day and provide some lighting and stuff like that. So literally the whole music video was filmed for free, apart from 2 bottles of Chardonnay, which cost $10 in total.
Wow.
And Bud had to drink
So
that.
it wasn't free after all.
No.
So the end of
I
the
knew
story.
it.
Why did you end the story
It's
with
just
that?
like those free car washes where they make you use your own water. Damn it. It's always
so-
too good to be
But
true.
that was pretty amazing to film a music, have those sort of profile of people coming across us.
Let me pause and put them away. This will
Okay.
be a good break. So sorry about that.
That's
Oh, good.
okay.
Good.
I think the worst is behind us. We got through the storm, and it was so good. So it's gonna be even better now. I feel
Yes.
No
like.
distractions.
God, I'm like dying to hear the music now.
Excellent.
That's why I love
That's
hearing
good.
the story first.
Yeah.
And it's part of it is I'm spread way too thin, so I
Uh-huh.
don't have time really to. I don't watch TV anymore. Like I don't know what's going on in the world. So I'm the perfect like coming in cold
Good for you.
interviewer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So now I'm like, yeah, but it'd be funny if it was like really bad.
Yeah, it would, wouldn't it? I think it was.
Because I'm like picturing the Bee Gees now.
Yeah.
You got that in my. I'm like, am I talking to the future Bee Gees?
I think it was. You are.
Am I? Do you
Mate,
think that?
Yeah, for sure. Like as far as something of
Why
that
wouldn't
stature,
you?
like I think
if you didn't, I'd be worried.
we're prepared. That's why we're prepared to put this work, and we think we will go down
That's-
as people who are really respected in the music industry. We'll
Right.
contribute a lot.
And you
we feel
don't
we've
seem
got.
delusional, so I'm like, no, they must be really
They don't
good.
seem
It's
delusional.
it's an interesting point. Don't seem delusional. No,
You never
exactly.
know.
So no, you never know. No, we've got a lot of confidence, but I think it was the 3rd or 4th car wash. It was a 16-year-old boy. He lived fairly close in the neighborhood. And we actually ended up, a few months after the car wash, we played a block party for them in their driveway, and they brought the neighborhood and that kind of stuff. But he
Yeah.
told us the story then. He said, when I first took it to my dad, he's like, I don't know, you better listen to their music first, because if they're no good, it's going to be uncomfortable. And he said, no, Dad, I have. They're really good. It was like and then he showed
Yeah.
the dad, and they were like really into their music. And the dad's like, they are good. Okay, you can get them around for the car wash. Next thing, then, a couple of months later, we played at their place. And
So
on.
that's us. Emperor's Night, good enough for a car wash.
For a free car wash.
Yeah, for a free car
How
wash.
bad
Yeah.
does the music have to be that you turn down the free car wash?
The free car wash will be worth it.
Yeah. So look, I think it's created that interest in a fair few people. Oh, let me hear their music.
Yeah.
And there's so much out there. How do you get people to stop and say, I want to hear their music?
Right.
For us, this has been it.
So you guys all sing?
Two of
harmonize?
us. He's not allowed to sing. Strict
Ever.
rules.
We should finish that joke.
It's not a joke. He thinks it's a joke. It's not a joke.
Like
You didn't realize they turned your microphone off?
I never have one. It's really annoying because not because I want to sing, because I want to talk in between songs. They're telling all the jokes, and I don't get to say anything.
So you really don't have a mic when you perform?
He will.
Sometimes.
He will.
He will.
Yeah, he will. Just
I
now,
can do
He's earning his way.
backups very.
if you practice. No, basically, Dion and I share the singing.
They're like they share lead vocals, sort of like Lennon and McCartney. Like each song it'll be like one or the other.
Can we hear some bars?
No, definitely not. I've got to be warmed up. I'm not going to be halfway through a whiskey and just go for it. No.
That would be pretty epic, though.
Yeah, no. Go.
All right.
Yeah, listen to it on.
I'm trying.
Go
All right.
bit, yeah.
I thought I'd take a shot.
Yeah, fair enough.
I always ask.
Yeah, fair play.
Is this my drink?
Yes,
I think
It
so.
is
Yes.
now.
So yeah, two
All
of
right.
us sing. I play.
Maybe at the end we'll play some music because we
Yeah.
have a speaker around here. Because I'm really.
We do have a speaker in
All right.
our car as well. So we've got
Okay.
our car wash boombox is here, so we can play
Really?
it from there if you like. Yeah.
Okay.
It goes everywhere with
Let's
us.
do that.
So, yeah, we could do
We'll
that.
make people that are listening to the podcast wait.
Yeah.
Or they can pause right now and go listen to some and come right back.
Don't pause. You'll never come back.
Exactly. They'll never come back. Don't leave. No.
They
Damn
won't
it.
be able
They're
to
gone.
They're too invested. There's no way they could even pause right
It doesn't
now.
matter what we say now. They're gone. They already started listening to your
Okay,
music.
well,
They'll
that-
never
it's a
be
different
back.
world.
Now
It's a
the
different
filter.
world.
Now the filters are off.
Exactly. Now we can
Everyone's
talk
gone
about
anyway.
anything. All right. So let's go to your childhood.
Yeah.
Tell us your most traumatic experience. You could.
Remember
I
when
can't
the
remember.
boys in the kitchen
guys seem like you had a
asked you
really-
what the worst thing you ever did was?
Oh yeah,
Is that what they did?
they
Yeah.
did. So we worked
Well,
in a
They're
kitchen
trying to get
back
dirt.
we worked
Yeah,
in a
exactly.
kitchen back in restaurants back in Australia when I was like 20 years old or something. And in a kitchen, you spend a lot of time like in a very confined space with each other. You're prepping all day,
With nothing
and then
to do.
And so the amount of rubbish that gets
Yeah.
spoken about between these guys,
They just
it's
talk crap all day.
It's
And
insane.
I think maybe our kitchen was more so like that because there were a couple of boys who were especially like lippy.
They were anyway. So one of the questions was, everyone say the worst thing you'd ever done. At that point, I hadn't lived a very rock star existence. I guess I'd probably been the well-behaved brother. So my story was once I'd been home 2 hours late. I got home at 5, and they said, "You got home at 5 in the morning?" I said, "No, 5 in the afternoon. I was supposed to be home at 3." And I said, and I don't know why I said this to this day.
And it was a Monday.
and at that point, that was the worst thing I'd ever done.
But the thing was, Bud was being earnest. He was like, "Yeah, I think that's the worst thing I ever did."
Why did you bring up the story? I don't know why. And then why did I go on and tell it? I'm not sure.
Well, I gave you room to either tell it or not tell it.
Well, once you introduced it, I had to tell it, didn't I?
Oh my
we
God. You
digress.
guys have like an ongoing podcast series starting right now. Seriously. You should totally do that as part of the marketing, but also because the wit, and it's unique to America. I mean, I'm just saying, almost Smothers Brothers-y. You know Smothers Brothers?
No.
No, I don't.
What's
Look
that?
up Smothers Brothers. It's
Right.
an old like two brothers.
Uh-huh.
You know, one's the smart guy, one's the
Okay.
dumb guy,
Yeah.
but really they're both super geniuses.
Uh-huh. We
You-
do
you-
have that
that's-
brother
yeah.
thing
You
going
know
on.
what's interesting though, so you're not seeing the full experience having 3.
Yeah.
It's a lot harder to work the dynamic out between 3. A
Yes.
lot harder.
And do you do that?
yeah,
well?
we've
we
got to
have.
that point
It-
where
it
we
took a
have.
bit of work,
It took some
actually.
work because him and I used to like work in the same place and stuff, so we kind of got used to it, and so we knew where to go back and forth between the two of us and stuff.
Right.
And people would be like, "Oh my god, you're like saying the same things," and like blah blah blah. So
Right.
Whereas
Very
once-
flowing banter. and-
yeah,
Yeah.
but
fun
with the
and-
3 of us, Dion adds another vibe as well, and then you have to like adjust all the time, and it takes some work.
So I think we've got it down pat now.
And it's
So-
more interesting when Dion's here. I will say that.
Definitely. He has
Yeah.
it, yeah.
Slightly.
Oh,
All right, we'll have to do a part 2.
We were supposed to talk about how he was the useless, unimportant brother, but we
Right.
seem to be bigging him up instead. I don't know how
Right.
that happened. But
Backfiring on you. This was your chance to take over the band.
and he's going to be watching it. What are they going to say about me? And he's like, okay.
We
then.
should say something inappropriate, probably.
Something inappropriate about him.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
We'll
Yeah.
work on it. We'll
We'll
think
work
of the
on it.
worst.
Think of
yeah.
something.
What's the
A
worst
story
thing?
that
The
he
worst
can't
thing he's
defend.
ever
Worst
done.
thing he ever did
What's the
was
worst thing?
He was home at 6.
he killed a man.
You've gone way
No,
too far.
Do you
can't.
know what I'm talking about?
Oh, sorry, that's a fun. No, you
No,
can't.
I can't tell that
stop now.
story. No, I can't tell that story. But
It's a ridiculous story.
it's ridiculous. He was just a young child, and
Oh, that one.
Yeah, do you know what I'm talking about?
I thought you meant the 2 occasions he's killed someone.
Oh, that other time.
Yeah, we're just telling in jokes. That's not
Sorry,
fair.
no,
Yeah.
we shouldn't. Yeah, I
Anyway,
didn't
so
mean
back-
to do
back-
that.
Joke about killing.
No, I was
Yeah,
thinking if I could tell that story.
Great joke.
You guys should
isn't
explain. Let's leave that one to.
So back
Your
to our
imagination.
adventure so far. Some other things I don't know if you have or haven't seen. We've got quite a bit of media coverage now on our story. So initially we got written up in the paper, the LA Daily News. The journalists loved the story, so they put it in 11 publications across Southern California. So next thing you know, we're going out to like Victorville to wash a guy's car. And once again, if
OC, Santa Clarita.
if it's basically possible, we'll do it. So
Not on
we've
the same
driven out
day.
these places for one car wash. Then we got on Spectrum TV News, cable TV channel. But then the biggest one was getting on KTLA. The KTLA basically pretty much LA's biggest news station, and they did like a 3-minute piece on us.
Wow.
And they played it like 5-6 times. So we got like 800-900 followers. We got a lot of traction from that.
Have you thought about a car wash concert? Seriously.
We have.
We
We played
wondered
around
that-
with those ideas, and we
Because
just.
when you told me Victorville, I'm like, my brain, because I'm always
Yeah.
overthinking and coming up with ideas how to make my life easier.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, you should just, I guess, plan a concert. You're going to be out there, or other cars. That I just started thinking like,
We've tried
You
to
guys should
think
do
the
like a concert.
practicalities through of it.
Yeah.
Of like, okay, if we turn up and wash cars, and so let's say even if it's 15 minutes a car, how long are the people going to be in the audience to watch us wash all these cars and then listen to us? I think the idea is really good. We just have to
gotta
work
add
on the
something.
practicalities.
Yeah.
there's got to be more to the
Yeah,
experience.
you can't wash like 30
Yeah.
cars because then you'll be there all day.
Yeah.
And then you play a show. So, but there is something there.
Right. I was just thinking, like, I don't know. Somehow I don't know. Can you do a concert at a car wash and then?
Well, yeah. Funny
since you're
thing
just
is,
known as the
Yes.
car wash
Yeah, I know.
guys.
yeah,
Maybe it's sponsored, so it's free.
Yes.
Yeah.
But you have people to wash it, and you guys are performing. instead of-
Yes.
You can help out, like, for
I know.
fun.
Yeah,
to
exactly.
get some content.
we
But
played. So
really, like, when you get to that point, that level,
I think
like
that
after
will
you've
be-
done your 500th car wash,
Yeah, exactly. That's which is coming up fast.
maybe you do like it's our 500th car wash. We're co-sponsoring with a local car wash.
Yeah.
They're gonna do it for free from these hours, and it's like a publicity for them and for you guys, and you do a concert for a 2-hour concert, free car wash, first come first serve.
I think some of those things are what's coming up
Tips
for
are
us.
accepted.
Because I think the car wash idea is fun and unique enough to stick with.
Mhm.
As far as, because every time new people come across it, they still want to in some way get the experience,
Right.
sort of thing. So rather than just move on and go, oh, we're not car washing anymore, we're playing music, because we are starting to play a run of shows now. We're playing once or twice a week. We're getting, people are coming along this sort of, so that's starting to happen for us. But still, the car wash thing is a really fun thing for new people coming to us. So you've got your
No
thinking
one's
cap
done
on.
the car wash tour.
no.
And it's
We've
if you
talked
think
about
about
a
a
car wash
car
tour.
wash, there's plenty of space for a little mini concert.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, also,
And the content is the key.
we also have,
It's going to be covered by all the local news. Like
That's
that's
just
just
what I was
so
gonna say.
unique.
we've had,
Who are these people? Who are these Kiwis?
I mean, we've had contact
Storming.
with other news organizations, like as far as there's a news anchor in San Diego who's interested in doing our piece. She said she wanted to do like she said maybe like a fun live on air morning TV thing.
Right.
I just spoke to someone, a journalist in Las Vegas today who's on TV and says, I think if you're coming out here, the entertainment reporter wants to cover you. We've had, was it Santa Barbara they were interested. So touring, washing cars and getting news stations to cover you at each, like it's definitely a possibility.
You guys are already got it. Because look, the car wash themselves are easy to sell now. Hey, we have a story.
Yeah, exactly.
News channels want a
Yeah.
story. They will come cover your car wash. You'll be
Yeah.
on TV. You'll
I
be on
know.
the 9 o'clock news.
Uh-huh.
Can you do free car washes for 3 hours for us? 2 hours? Whatever it is. And we'll do a concert. Art God will do an art installation
Uh-huh.
live
Yeah.
of whatever makes sense
Uh-huh.
of a kiwi.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
It's
perfect.
a giant kiwi. And then they're like, what is a giant kiwi? Oh, it's the Kiwi brothers now.
Who doesn't love
Are,
kiwi?
are we talking about the kiwi, the fruit, or the bird?
I don't know.
Both.
Both.
One inside the other.
One inside.
Hy-
Which way?
Which came first,
Yeah.
the kiwi or the bird?
While we're on that, I'm just...
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Please.
You've
help
got,
yourselves.
You've got the McKellen looking at me.
Yeah.
And
Help
I-
yourself, man.
Turned out I couldn't resist it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Please. And there's ice and
His sponsor won't be happy about this.
Exactly. We're actually launching a spirits brand in like 5 months.
Are you really?
So we'll be competing with Macallan.
It went straight over their
Yeah,
heads.
it's a Scotch though. We'll be a bourbon and a
I was
rye.
very intent on a Scotch and
But we love there's room for everyone. We don't feel like they're our competition. We feel like there's room for.
They will be though.
I was
They will
talking about his AA sponsor actually, but
I still don't know
Oh,
what you're
that-
talking. I still don't know what you're talking about.
when you go,
He doesn't
when-
understand those
all right, shall I
things.
explain to him
Yeah.
how AA works?
Please.
Yeah.
Because he's so innocent. Because the worst thing he ever did was come home at
Right.
5 p.m. when
Because
he should have
AA
been home.
meetings are usually after 5 p.m.
That's right. He wasn't allowed to go.
I was regretting telling the story before. Now I am even more.
when you sign up for AA, you have a sponsor.
Yeah,
who-
I know that.
yeah. So I said
Oh,
your
the-
sponsor won't be happy
Ah,
now that you're
okay.
pouring more alcohol
Right,
for
okay, there's
yourself.
some-
Dude, this is Smothers Brothers. Except, look, the other one of the brothers played dumb.
Right, okay.
You just play innocent.
Okay, yeah,
Like, oh my God, man. Okay, it's when somebody pays someone to. Like, just
think
concepts, like adult concepts that happen after 5
Ooh,
p.m.
that's good. Ooh, thank you.
Is it good? Smooth?
Mm-hmm.
McAllen's pretty good.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
nice.
Yeah.
I think the brother thing does work in our favor.
Yes.
As far as, I mean,
it's so interesting.
do you have siblings?
Yeah. I have one
you-
older brother.
Right. You know that no one in the world talks to you like your sibling.
Right.
No, you can't create that relationship
Nope.
that I've seen. So I think people enjoy that about us. Like that's part of the car wash experience. We turn up and basically make fun of each other in
Right.
some sort of way. So
You guys would be great in colleges, like a college tour. Have you guys done a college tour?
no, well,
No.
like, that's another thing I think would be. I mean, of course, with COVID being only
Right.
here since January, we had all these things haven't really been
Zoom,
possibilities before.
doing any Zoom stuff, like video stuff, online stuff?
We've signed up with a place called Moment House.
Mm-hmm.
And they did like a Tame Impala concert and a Justin Bieber one and stuff like that. They do the virtual concerts, and they started just before COVID, so COVID hit and so they exploded. So the car wash we did for KTLA was for the guy who runs this place called Moment House.
He started it.
So
Moment House?
yeah, Moment House. Yeah.
Oh.
And so it's a platform where artists can basically sell tickets and perform to their fans.
Right.
But,
I
I mean, some of the other.
So we're signed up for that. So we're working out with them like some sort of virtual concert we could do as well.
We've got a lot of potential openings to us right now because we've met a lot of people and so on. So we've had people like we're having in talks with people with like management who are fairly high profile who've come across us. There's a lady. We've been pitched to the Jimmy Kimmel show. Like about 3 or 4 people that we know knew people behind the scenes and have messaged them. We knew that at one point we heard back they were interested. They loved the story. Hasn't happened yet. But when you know you're being spoken about in those places,
Spoken about.
about putting your, I mean, that's pretty cool. I mean,
That
for
is
a
really
band
cool,
like
man.
that, you do that, you basically
You
break
guys
as
are-
a band.
You guys are doing something right.
So we know
really
we're getting
exciting.
close to that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's sort of going from here to here, right, straight up.
Right.
And even places like like the Allen show. There was another night show, the Lily Singh show. So we know we've had some contacts with a few of those. They haven't come through yet, but there's a lot of little potential things that we think will happen. The other one of the other fun people we met was a lady who was one of the presidents of 42 West. They're a huge PR firm. They do PR for people like Tom Cruise, Tom Hanks. They've got
All
big-
the Toms.
Yes.
That's
All
the only.
the Toms.
That's
So
the
if
only
your name's
people.
Tom and you're famous, they've signed you.
Tom Hardy.
So this lady personally represented the film director David O. Russell.
I heard actually Ewan McGregor tried to change his name to Tom so
So
he could be
that's-
represented by them.
I've got a
Hi, I'm
great
Tom
proposition.
McGregor. No, you're not. You're
So-
Ewan.
Anyway, we watched her.
There's
car.
one little catch. You need to sign this name change form.
You need to be Tom.
Just for a temporary.
Yeah, that's
Change it
right.
back.
Yeah.
Um,
Would it affect your career? No, it's pretty
Make it a
much.
middle
It's
name.
pretty much. It's
We'll
pretty
make
much
it your middle
over.
name,
I'm just
in
doing
quotes.
HBO Max series now, so you know.
Exactly. Nobody cares.
so they also.
Whoops, we just made it. We just made
Whoa.
beef with Ewan McGregor.
Now HBO Max,
Oh, no.
McGregor. We
Gonna
got
have
no
to-
sponsors left, man.
McCallan's definitely not interested. You're
Oh,
gonna have to make your own. You're gonna-
Exactly. Man.
All right, sorry. I was
Um,
being silly.
So on from that, so they also, I think, was it Lady Gaga they represent? Anyway, all the people that work there are working for the biggest people in the world. She now is wanting to get us to go and do a private concert for their staff party. for the 42 West staff party. So these are like some of the biggest PR people in the industry.
And she's seen you sing?
She has.
Yes.
She is that we washed her car. She had the boombox there in the background. A couple of months later, she messages us like a week ago saying, "Will you come?"
No, because she listened to the music quite intently at the time. And
Yes.
she said she really
she
liked
actually
it.
sent it around the office.
Yeah.
Wow,
So-
that's a good sign. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. He's looking for signs
Right,
to
I'm
say,
looking for
okay,
signs.
yeah, exactly. I think they're good. I don't
Right.
think they're delusional, but wait, what have other people
Yeah,
said?
what have
Who's
other
this?
people
What'd
said?
they say?
Right.
Yeah, so I mean, those are
I'm
like,
concerned when the singers are like, my mom says I'm really good. And then it's like,
Mum doesn't like me that much.
that's a good sign. Right.
Mum's like, you should quit, but everyone
Right.
else seems
Mum's
to like
on
it.
different.
That's a good sign.
Mum's on the fence. She's like, I can leave it.
Right.
Maybe
Yeah.
I should have had another son.
When are you coming home?
You know,
I wish I named you Tom.
Then you could be represented by 42 West,
Right.
who only
Then you'd have a
represent.
shot.
So of course, when she said that we could play at their staff party, we said only if all the Toms are there. So that's a condition. So we're waiting to hear back on
Right.
that.
You don't have to go back now, but I really want to go back to your story. Like,
Right.
I want to know how you guys became like this passionate, and were you guys always into music? Were did your parents
Yeah, we were
introduce you?
always-
Like, what's the?
Okay, sorry.
Did you live on a farm? Like, tell me the whole thing now. Now that we're intrigued,
Okay.
Where did you
right
guys
back
come
to the
from?
beginning.
yeah,
Yeah, Dad.
reverse engineer what I see before me now.
Right.
How did this happen?
I
What
think
were the ingredients?
it definitely started with Dad. He
The ingredient.
what were the ingredients?
What were the
It started
ingredients
with
that
that.
started with that?
He sprinkled the.
I think you've gone far back enough. We know that's the first ingredient involved. Moving along from there.
Gross.
That's
So
usually the way it works.
I remember being
really
really into music from like the age of 5 or 6 because he had his music collection that I would listen to, and he would always play a lot of music when we went on car rides and all that kind of stuff, and it was always like classic rock. Like I remember Cat Stevens. I remember what else? I remember
Traffic.
Crowded House. Do you know Crowded House?
Yeah.
Yep. Traffic. Yeah, they're a little less known, but that's
Steve Winwood.
Steve Winwood's
Mhm.
original
Band
band.
back in the-
yeah.
That was Traffic. Yeah, so it was a lot of classic
Then he
rock
played
stuff.
Led Zeppelin. We were 4 and 5 years old. He blared Whole Lotta Love in the car, and he and I were like, "What is this awful noise? Turn it down." Mum and Dad think it's hilarious. Turn it up even louder. And that was our introduction to music. And then, of course, we soon came to our senses and
Right.
loved Led Zeppelin. But a lot of nights,
Well, that guitar, like I remember when I first started hearing it from my
Doo-doo-doo.
brother's loudspeakers.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, like this is not normal. This doesn't
No.
sound like Dr. Seuss. But once you understand, you
Yeah.
know, what's
oh
behind
my
it.
God, that voice.
Yeah.
So I think Dad
Unbelievable.
introducing us to all of that music was definitely a big factor.
A lot of nights growing up, we didn't watch TV. We'd just sit around for 3-4 hours as a family in the lounge room listening to records, to music.
Wow.
Yeah.
So the music was a huge
We
part
would go
of-
through periods where Dad would just put the TV in the cupboard and say, "We're not watching TV for a few
Lit-
months."
no,
Really?
literally,
I'm not joking. Yeah.
Literally, you'd see
And
Was
we'd
he
Dad.
be
a
like-
musician or
Sorry.
was
He played. He played for a band a little bit, but he wasn't he was actually a stockbroker and a businessman, and he
Okay.
ran his own business as a management consultant and stuff like that. But he wrote music and things like that.
So he had a passion for it.
yeah,
but-
he
Yeah.
did.
Was it a
And-
passion he just didn't pursue, or just it wasn't really
It's
like
just a- it's just
like
a-
being a business owner was a passion too, and
Yeah, look,
music was just there.
He was passionate about both sides. He loved the business side of it. He really enjoyed it. It wasn't as though he regretted not
Right,
doing
okay.
music, sort of thing. But it's just
Interesting.
that didn't happen in his life. But
Right.
he was always really talented. Like he wrote songs and he wrote in words and so on. So that certainly felt natural to us to write songs after seeing Dad have an acoustic guitar and write songs. So
Right.
we picked up a guitar at 12, 13 and just 3 chords in we start writing songs. And that's what seemed natural to us.
Ish,
So-
yeah, I think it was pretty much. I think I learned 2 or 3 songs from the books. You know, you get those books with the chords
Right.
and the songs, and I learned
And then you're
2
like,
or 3
off
that I
from
like, and then I just learned the chords and went, I'm just going to make up my own. And I never really learned any other music. I played lead guitar in the band, and because I didn't play any other music. Most guys learning lead guitar probably like copy some other, like they watch some stuff or they read the tablature or something. I didn't really do that, so I didn't realize when you bend a note, you're supposed to bend it up like to the next note. I thought it was just like a little bend, and it wasn't until I read some tablature of like Jimi Hendrix stuff and I realized that they're actually bending one note up to another note. Before that, I had no idea that they did that. So like,
You've never confessed this to me. He knew I would have fired him as a guitarist if I knew he didn't know what they did when they
but
bent
that's
the
how
note.
much like I didn't like
Right.
learn other pieces at all. So it was kind of helpful at some point
Yeah.
to learn a little bit of stuff.
Right. But was
That
it also helpful not to
Yes.
be
Oh,
kind of
100%.
boxed in?
Huge.
Yeah.
Hugely. So we basically taught ourselves our
Yeah.
instruments. So I taught myself piano. I went through about 5 grades of classical books. So I learnt but I just taught myself through them, taught myself to read, and then from then just made up my own pieces again. And I think most creative people, or not all, I guess, but certainly for us, it was liberating not being taught by anyone, because you just figure it out yourself.
Right.
And you figure it out slightly different to anyone has before, and so on. And that's, it's a huge
I
benefit.
feel like there's two schools of thought, and neither one's wrong, right?
Absolutely.
For a lot of people I know, they do so much better not learning from the books.
Mm-hmm.
They like to learn from experience, working with people that might know, or just through experience. And some people like mastering what's been learned,
Yeah.
but they're also good at going, all right, now
Yeah.
let me take it to another level.
Exactly.
Because you shouldn't be
Definitely.
limited by that.
No.
And
Yeah.
if you're the type to be limited, it's almost better not to
Yeah.
go that route. Just learn on your own so you can explore first.
Yeah.
I remember hearing about Woody Allen was going to be he was a professor at one of the universities, a film professor, for he did it for half a semester, and then he quit, and he said, "You can't teach people to write good films. This is stupid.
He
You
said
can either do it or you can't."
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I
So
kinda-
he
If
just
you're a storyteller,
yeah.
it's a certain brain. It's not that
Yeah.
you can't perfect it.
Yeah.
No.
You can learn formats and
Yeah.
here's how you do a script. But my business partner, who is a writer and
Yeah.
came to Hollywood to become a writer and was a successful writer,
Mhm.
Yeah,
even had worked with Woody Allen at some point,
right.
even though he doesn't like to associate with his name anymore. But
Wonder why?
yeah, but he has a brain that does what probably musicians do, where
Yeah.
they can see the music, he
Yeah.
can see the story.
Yeah.
He'll type up a 3-page synopsis that's beautifully written in 10 minutes.
Right.
Where it would take me days to get it right.
Yeah.
That doesn't flow. I can learn to be a better writer, yes,
Uh-huh.
but I will never be Woody Allen or my business partner.
No.
No,
They-
that's
yeah.
exactly it. You
Yeah.
can
So
look-
you got to find where your brain works
Yeah.
best.
Yeah.
Because I do that well with other things,
Yeah.
driving or having
Yeah.
a conversation.
No, and you know what's interesting? We consider ourselves fairly equal equal as far as creative talent goes. We all write songs and so on, but we all are quite different as far as what our skills are as well. Some specifics in music, one is really good at, and the others aren't really natural at.
Right.
So even between ourselves, we see that difference, and you really understand how that comes together. You can just do it effortlessly. With the other,
Bud can
Embrace
pick up,
that.
Bud can pick
Yeah.
up chords in other people's songs really quickly. So he can just sit down at the piano or with a guitar and work out, okay, listen to it and go, okay, that's this chord, this chord. I have no clue. I'm completely lost. I never have any idea what chords are next. But most of the time on my own songs either.
Right.
Actually, that's true. He writes a song and then he shows it to me, and then 2 years later he's like, I don't know the chords, and it's like, don't worry, I remembered them for you.
That's brilliant though, because you're complementing each other's
We do,
strengths
actually.
and weaknesses.
Yeah.
And that's how you really build a great team.
We do feel lucky that we do have different strengths. The three of us have different strengths and weaknesses.
It's always that way. The problem is
I'm
most
really good
people
at being
don't
a-
embrace it.
Absolutely.
They go, why can't you be
Like,
da 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 da?
yeah, exactly.
How come I have to do the thing?
It's not
Well,
easy
why don't
sometimes.
you do the thing you're doing so
Yeah.
well and let me help you some other way where I'm good?
Yeah,
instead
that's-
of-
I know.
Saying, you know what I mean? If I'm good at washing dishes,
Yeah.
I'll just wash the dishes.
Yeah.
Go do the thing I don't want to do that you're good at.
It's not easy to do that
Yeah.
sometimes between people. You're
Right.
exactly right. It can be quite
Exactly.
tricky, but I think again that is something we have worked out. Going, okay, that is a strength of yours. You take care of that, and I think we each take turns at leading the way in different areas. Okay, now this is your strength. You lead the way here.
Right.
This is you, and that's a dynamic that takes time to work out sometimes. Both the confidence and the security in yourself and the
Emotional
other
intelligence.
person. Yeah, there's a bit
You
to
guys
it.
are very emotionally intelligent. I'm just saying that to compliment you,
Yes.
but also
what's coming up? What's next?
But
what
also-
are you hitting us with?
but also to say that it's kind of needed. It's not that easy to do what you guys are doing. I'm just saying somebody listening should they should understand that to make something like this work.
Yeah.
Even I think it's great that it's brothers, but that
Yeah.
doesn't mean it's automatically gonna work.
No.
You have to still understand each other's needs, egos, sometimes give in and let somebody lead, because
Yeah.
some people don't have the security to allow someone to lead because
No.
they feel like that's somehow putting them in a lower rank, so they have to. Hey, I got that. Stop.
Where did you learn the stuff about human nature?
Yeah,
Where?
I mean,
it's a question.
yeah, no,
Where did you? How did you come up with knowing these kind of things,
it's a
understanding these
great
things?
question, man.
Did
I
you-
am like, I think first and foremost, it's learning from the masters.
Uh-huh.
Seriously, because I think up to a certain point in my life, I didn't have this teaching
Right.
growing up. Some people are
Yeah.
like taught by emotionally intelligent parents,
Uh-huh.
and it's like, wow, you're a little bit ahead of the game. You
Yeah.
guys probably were. I honestly had a little bit of it. I'm not
Uh-huh.
saying they didn't.
Yeah.
Soviet Union immigrants, man,
Yeah.
coming from communists, very open-minded, relatively speaking,
Uh-huh.
but old school, like get good job. Nobody like job. Stop complaining. Like that's the advice,
Right.
basically. But
Uh-huh.
that you're very smart. You do everything but make good money.
Uh-huh.
It wasn't about what you're good at. It wasn't about what you love.
Right.
So it took me a long time, and like probably in my mid 30s
Uh-huh.
when I was going through like my own divorce,
Uh-huh.
really was a wake up call for me, because I'm
Yeah.
like, wow, I guess I didn't have this figured out like I thought.
Yeah.
And I started reading books and being
Uh-huh.
open.
So when
And
you
the
say
second
masters-
thing I would
Sorry.
say is like being super observant of people. And I've always studied people. I've always like been hyper sensitive and
Yep.
hyper empathetic.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I easily cry,
Uh-huh.
even on a commercial sometimes,
yeah.
if I can connect a
Uh-huh.
certain way.
Yeah.
But like, until I really started listening, it wasn't really clicking for me.
Uh-huh.
And then from there, emotional intelligence came. It's just, it is common sense. It's really understanding
Yeah.
why we do things and not taking things personally. And it's
Yeah.
a lot of like, just, I don't know, like higher level understanding of people's
Uh-huh.
brains, I think.
I think,
Yeah.
it kind of leads one to the other. I think if you study yourself and then apply it to others, each one builds on itself. By watching others, you start to understand yourself better.
Yeah.
And by watching yourself, you start to understand others better. And it kind
Absolutely.
of builds one on the other,
Yep.
doing both those things.
Yeah.
I was just almost surprised, obviously struck by you do dial in. You kind of to the key points quite quickly. So I was curious as to where that came from
Well, thank you.
with you.
Yeah, I think it's like my passion,
Right.
which is why I'm doing podcasting.
Makes a lot of sense.
I also have like business endeavors,
Right.
but all of them are based on like relationship building. And,
Uh-huh.
like I'm probably really good at discerning people.
Yep.
I like making people feel comfortable.
Uh-huh.
And I'm very non-judgmental.
Right.
So it allows people to be close to me and open up to me.
Uh-huh.
But I also really discern them, like
Uh-huh.
meaning I'm not judging them, but
Yeah.
I'm like,
It's a good
this
combination.
person probably, I'm guessing, and I'm not always right.
Yeah.
I'm always open.
Yeah.
So like, like you could call it sizing people up. But
Yeah.
it's not what it is. It's
Yeah.
understanding people.
Yeah.
It's really an empathy.
Uh-huh.
And if it comes with judgment, then that's not the same thing.
Yeah. No.
I don't judge
I
anybody.
I get what you're
Yeah.
saying.
I'm really interested. Like, how do
Because there's always
and-
a story. You kind of seem to know there's a story behind why they're like this way. Like, okay,
Right.
maybe this person isn't even trustworthy to go into business with. I'm not judging them for that. There's a reason for that. But, I'm just evaluating the facts. I still empathize for why they've got
Yes.
to this point.
Right.
But, yeah, so I see with the difference that you're talking about.
And you guys probably understand that, and if you don't, you should.
Yeah.
You probably already do, but for your band and who you're
Yeah.
associating with, that's what's gonna make or break you. If you make a deal with some record label, I don't care how big they are,
Mm-hmm.
that aren't the right partners,
Yeah,
they're gonna kill you, man.
100%.
They're gonna rape you,
Uh-huh.
and they're gonna bury you in legal paperwork.
No one wants
and,
to be raped.
Yeah, so it's right. You don't want that.
As long as they
You
kill
know,
me first.
legally, I mean, maybe not
Yeah.
literally, but could be.
Could be.
You never know. Some of these
Depends who's
executives
running
in
the company.
Hollywood. Gotta be
Some of the
careful.
stories that have been coming out
Hey.
these days.
Exactly. man.
We met a former big record guy, Mike Bone. He was president of about 4 or 5 record labels, like Island Records, Columbia Records, like major labels, like through the 80s
Def
and
Jam.
90s. Def Jam. So
Wow.
so we washed his car. So
Yeah.
he's been 15 years,
He
20.
got our flyer.
Yes, he got our flyer, loved it, got us round.
You hit the right neighborhoods too. I gotta say, it's smart. Like Hollywood Hills is good.
Yeah.
You
He
want-
was in Santa Monica, actually.
Well, look, you need to, like, if you look at it from a business sense,
Yeah.
right? Like, you have a product
Yeah.
to sell. So if I'm selling, like, cars, I got to go to
Uh-huh.
people that want to buy cars.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You need to connect with people that are going to be able to like, you know, use their network, and then you use your network to make something greater.
Absolutely. You got to be
So
common sense about
You
it.
need people that know what they're doing.
Can't be
Like the
entirely
fact that he's
idealistic.
monetarily successful, that's just a measure of their
Yeah.
success. Obviously, they know what they're doing
Yeah.
in the industry, and then you just have to figure out who you can trust more or less.
A lot.
You
Yeah.
know, and get a really good lawyer to airtight, you know,
There's a lot of that. You got to be
contract.
careful.
Yeah.
So in meeting him, he got us around and he said, so it's been 15, 20 years since he was actually active in the record business. But he said, are you looking for a record deal? And we're like, not specifically, but we're open to whatever. And he said, well,
I was like, yes, please, Mike, give it to me now.
and then
What do I need to
Don't
do?
dangle it in front of me. Just give
he
it
said,
to me.
right, and then anyway, he said, then this was before he told us who he was and so on. But anyway, then he said,
We already knew, didn't we?
oh yeah, we looked him up. We're not idiots.
Right.
Mike Bone, he says to us, his name's Mike Bone. He says, you won't believe what you find here. So we're like, okay,
So, okay,
Mike,
let's
we
look
put
up
Mike
Mike
Bone in
Bone.
Google, and it's like president of all these labels. Like,
Right.
we're meeting the
Yeah,
record
yeah.
label
Right.
chief. Some people still seem surprised when they tell you their name. And
Speaking of which, we met. I'm going to diverge slightly, and we'll
Yeah.
come back
Right,
to Mike
okay,
Bone.
yeah.
But we met a screenwriter, and she's directed and written a few things, and one of her projects, she got an Oscar nomination for screenwriting for it, etc. So she's fairly high up, and she got us over for a car wash. She
followed us on Instagram.
She followed us on Instagram, and then she sent us an email. Her email address was like some
Her
random.
name.
No.
Oh,
No.
right.
Her email address was like something that she'd just come up with to keep her anonymity. But when she signed up for the Gmails, she'd put her name into the thing so that when she sent the email, it came up with her name. You know what I mean?
Right.
She didn't realize that though. She thought because she had a Gmail address that was like, I like hot dogs or whatever,
Right.
She thought that gave her anonymity, but she'd put her whole name into the thing. And so when we came over, we kind of mentioned that she'd sent us an email. We'd looked her up. We were like, oh, okay, she's a pretty big deal. We mentioned it to her, and she was like, how did you find out who I am? We were like, well, you followed us on Instagram from an account that has your name on it, and you sent us an email that has your name attached to it.
And then she was like,
but you can't see my name on the email. I was like, yep, you can see the whole thing.
yeah, so she was kind of a big deal, but made a
Yeah.
big thing of the fact we knew who she was.
Yeah.
And we're like,
We were
you
just
did two things that came up with your name and then
Right.
approached us.
She was
and
like,
then-
oh, I'm going to have to change that.
Yeah.
Like,
And
no
we
one's-
kind of heard the name, so we Googled it, and we're like, yes, okay, she's written some very well-known films. Anyway, back to Mike Bone, who we knew who he was. He
was
said,
happy for us to know who he was.
yeah, he said,
So she wasn't happy.
No,
she didn't
no.
even appreciate
She
that
wa-
you let her
no,
know.
No. She wanted to be 100% under the radar.
we were totally cool. We weren't like, oh my
Right.
God, you're this. We were just like, oh, you're a person. We'll
Right.
chat to you about it.
Plus, she should have said, "Hey, thanks for letting me know."
She
'Cause
did
you
in
could've
the
Yeah,
end.
just-
she did.
She
Oh,
did
she
in the
did.
end,
Okay,
but she was
that's
still
good.
kind of like, how did
Yeah.
you know who I am? We're like,
Right. Are you
anyway.
paparazzi.
Have
Mike-
you
yeah.
ever used the internet before?
Right. How do you know of this internet?
Well, we tracked down your IP code and...
Right. You speak of what IP?
I've seen these movies. Are you hackers? You're hackers, aren't you?
Hackers. You're one of those hackers. Aren't you?
So Mike Bone said, are you looking for a record deal? We said, well, not specifically, but what? He said, well, you shouldn't be. He said, and which was interesting coming from a guy. And he said, by the time they sign you these days, you no longer need them. They don't sign you until you're so far down the road that you don't need their
Interesting.
service. It was
Wow.
interesting. And then he went on to tell us about how, how much he loved the 80s and 90s and how breaking a band was just the greatest feeling in the world. You discover someone, you'd break them. It was better than sex. That's his phrase. That's
Yeah.
what he told us. So he loved it. He
I
said,
want in.
he said, who did we say that to recently? He said, yeah, I don't know if I agree. And Anne's like, you think sex is better? Anyway, so it was interesting coming from a former really big record deal guy, record label head. But
He doesn't think you need to get a record deal anymore. And I've kind of thought the same thing to some degree because it's all based on numbers these days. It's like,
Right.
how many followers do you have?
Exactly.
How many plays do you have on Spotify?
Right.
There's not
And then
really...
performances. And then based on that, you can sell out larger and larger
Well,
performances
that
where you
makes
make
sense.
a lot of the money, unless you get really, really big.
Yeah, but it's
Again,
not...
and then in that case, you don't.
It used to previously be you'd go headhunting and you go to some small little bar and you'd find some band on the stage and you go, oh my God, this is it. I'm going to turn them into something.
Right.
And you'd you'd take them and you'd build them
No,
from
the world has changed. Man.
Yeah, and they don't do that anymore.
Back
Well,
in the
because
day-
now you have access to all the. Before you needed a label that had access to all of these channels that would play your music.
Yep.
DJs, etc. You know, distribution channels to sell records at different stores. You needed that. If you didn't have that, you're screwed. But now you got this thing called the internet with IP addresses and stuff.
Yeah.
And you could like hire a marketing group or a person that's just really good at, you know, promoting shit online on a mass scale, and you put some dollars behind it and get some sponsors. And
There's
I mean,
a lot
you still
can
need
do
a
by
team,
yourself.
but
You
you
do.
don't need a label.
Maybe, yeah.
You can make your own team sort
you
of
really
these
can,
days.
You can a lot, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially depending on how far along you
Yeah.
are, you can make your own team.
Right. You know, there's the expertise exists already. They
Exactly.
could be remote nowadays. It's like the world is totally flipped. And then if a label comes along that's like, please, and then they go,
It's
well,
quite different.
make it worth our while,
Yeah,
then
it's quite different.
you have
Yeah,
leverage at least.
It's quite different.
That's really interesting.
Exactly.
It's interesting that I didn't know that it was that far along that, you know, executives are saying, or he's a former executive.
Exactly.
He's
Former.
not
So
he's
involved
more-
anymore, so he's
Yeah.
not a.
He doesn't
not-
have an interest in
No,
skin
exactly.
in the game.
Yeah.
No, but it was interesting to hear him say that so definitively. I don't know if there's any, you know,
Yeah.
living on former glories, what his field was. But anyway, I mean, he's obviously an expert in his field to a degree. He's done a lot of stuff, broken a lot of big bands, and he's saying, don't worry about it, do your own thing.
Right.
So, anyway.
He taught me one very important thing, and that was that you know the Cars and their song Drive, that wasn't sung by the normal lead singer,
Really?
which makes total sense because it sounds completely different.
Wait,
But I'd listen-
are you leading up? You think that you can one day sing our biggest hit as not being the singer? This is your cunning plan. You
wasn't-
know the Cars. Have you heard of their biggest hit?
So sneaky.
Wasn't it? I was like, where's he coming from here?
I
manipulative.
wasn't leading to that at all. You're obviously like,
You know,
like protecting your little like your
as a
interest.
matter of fact, I don't think he had a microphone in the beginning, and then slowly earned his way. So, okay, going back to your story,
Yeah.
just curious, like when you actually made the move, how did that all come about? When did you
yes.
guys go? Because it seems like was that a big deal? I'm assuming. Or are
Reasonably,
you guys
it
like,
was.
yeah, whatever?
Yeah,
We're
no,
just
no,
on
no.
another adventure
No.
off to Toronto.
That was quite a big deal because
No.
at
That's
the
a
time,
huge. That's like halfway
So
around the world.
we said from early on we sort of started writing songs. Probably in our mid-teens, we picked up a guitar and started writing songs and stuff like that. But then we never actually pursued it as a career. It was sort of something we were all interested
So
in.
you didn't think? When did you think? Holy
I
shit!
kind of always knew.
Can we do this?
I always kind of had in the back of knew that it was a career, but there were just a few things that happened as far as we kind of went traveling, and then
we had other jobs and stuff like that, and we just I don't know. There were different things that were happening in our lives, and then we got to a point.
I
at
think
the
out
end
of the three of us, I always knew it was going to be a career for us, but it
What?
just
Okay.
Yeah. No.
No, I just mean
You didn't. Maybe you're surprised by that.
No,
Maybe he
no,
didn't say.
no,
Did you
no,
not tell him?
offended.
No, no. I'm more like it
wanted
was
the
just
credit.
you, was it?
So you made this all happen.
Yeah, exactly. That's why
I
I'm sitting
was-
back so
so,
comfortably
bud,
with
anyway,
my whiskey.
bud,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
what-
yeah, yeah.
I was the one who always believed out of the three of us.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
If it
yeah,
wasn't
all
for my
okay,
belief.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't think that's
Continue.
true. But anyway, no, the thing was we were involved in other things, and then we got to by the end of 2019, we had put all these songs together, and we were at the point where we were like, okay, we should actually do something with this.
We had a
'Cause as we were
21,
saying-
21 song
Yeah, we had
originals.
21 songs that were like done, they're completed. We've released 6 of them so far. We released a 5-song EP at the end of last year, and we released a single this year. But we've got a lot of songs that are like waiting in the wings, and they're ready to be released. And so yeah, we got to the end of 2009, near the end of 2019, and we were like, okay, we've got all this material. I think we should make a go of this and do something with it. And rather than, we were living in a beautiful town in Australia, and it would have been quite easy just to stay there for the rest of our lives. And it was a
Also,
little
we-
beach town called Noosa. It's like one of the biggest holiday destinations in Australia.
We were running fairly high-end restaurants. We were managing restaurants. We'd
Yeah.
done that. And
We had a very comfortable life. We were living by the beach.
We had the option to, but Diane and I, the brother who's not here, were working, managing a place together, and we basically had the option to buy it because we'd run it for several years. We're very established. The owners wanted to sell. They wanted to sell it to us, and it's kind of like, okay, if you buy this place, you're basically set as far as things. Or
And then we had all
overlook
these.
that and make it bigger, take a bigger jump.
So like
Isn't
we're doing
it
it
always
from.
how it is in life?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
a movie, like
Yeah.
you get like the most important decisions always come with something that seems equivalent, and you're
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
ah,
Yeah.
It came to that point.
This
Like they
job
were,
or this job.
yeah, they were
Yeah.
going like, okay, you buy this, and like
Yeah.
that was like a guaranteed good career, and we were good at it, and we enjoyed it. Like we ran the floor. We
And
were
as I said, this is
entertaining.
one of the most beautiful places in the world. Like Australia is a. I don't know. Have
So-
you been to Australia?
No,
No, it's
one of the last places I want to
well,
go that I haven't
it's
been.
it's
actually.
empty comparatively,
Yeah.
compared to the size of it. There's only 26 million people, so it's got like no pollution. It's got barely any homelessness. It's like an oasis. It's beautiful. So we were living in one of the best spots there. So it was like we buy this restaurant and we just chill out here by the beach and go surfing.
Right.
Or we've got these 21 songs that we finished and we're kind of like, okay, these could be, this could be a big thing for us. I'm dramatizing it slightly, but
That is.
we were like,
amazing.
that's so we got to that point where we were
Is
like,
the
these.
album called 21? Is it going to be a
I don't know if we'd
Don't know what it's
release.
going to be called.
I don't
yeah.
know if we'd
Kind of a
release
good
them all
number.
at
Yeah,
once
it's not
either.
bad.
I'm not sure.
Blackjack?
Yeah, that'd be it. Yeah, I don't know if it'd be
Just
one or
21.
two albums, but yeah, it's a good
If
title.
you did like one
Jeez.
long, because
Yeah.
does it even
Bad.
matter if it's?
I know it's got to that point. Like Drake
Nobody
will
cares.
just
Everyone downloads single songs anyway.
Yeah.
I know.
and they'll
You could
just
just say 21.
I'm
'cause
thinking about that now.
this is the 21 that got you over the
wasn't
hump.
Adele's album 21?
Was it
I think so. Yeah. Yeah.
21?
Yeah.
Spell it differently.
Who's Adele? Yeah.
Who's Adele?
Yeah.
Let her come after us.
Yeah. So yeah, it was a big.
No, don't.
So it wasn't.
Damn it.
It wasn't.
No, thank you.
First Dylan, Adele.
Then there
Ewan
was
McGregor.
Then there was
Who's
Tom
next?
McGregor. You mean Tom McGregor?
Tom McGregor.
Yeah.
So yeah, we were like, okay, no, these songs are really good. Let's do something with this. And that's at the point we went, okay, we'll sell up and we'll move to a city.
Well,
We-
also there was the option of going to Melbourne, which is a really cool music city in Australia, but a lot of big Australian artists never break the overseas market because it's kind of an island unto itself. But as far as the music scene can be quite insular.
so we figured we'd come to North America and go, okay, we'll try and break the North American market, and then we don't have to break any other market ever again. Basically.
Smart. And LA kind of leads
Well,
the world.
it started
Yeah.
in Toronto
Started in
because that's
Toronto.
when news
Yeah.
and people started playing
Right.
shows.
Toronto's huge.
So
Oh my
three,
God,
I
love
think it was
Toronto.
3 shows in.
Yeah.
The pandemic arrived. We
Right,
sold
of course.
everything. We're like, okay. Everyone said, "Do you go back home?" We're like, "We don't have anything to go back home to. What's
Right.
going to happen?"
We
We'll
did sell everything. Like it was a major sale. We had a big yard sale.
Well, yeah, we sold a lot of stuff.
Sold all our furniture. We sold
$275.
3 vehicles, 2
Oh wow.
2 scooters, like what do you call them? Like the Vespas, 2 Vespas. They were great at the beach, man.
So yeah, we had a fairly established
Yeah.
life. We sold it all, moved to Toronto, got shut down, worked as
How
furniture
did
movers.
all 3 brothers do it at the same time? There were no like special significant others to
I
No.
know, that was convenient.
Yes.
We
It was at a point.
No, because usually that foils the
Yeah.
plan. Like,
Yeah.
oh man, we promised.
Yeah.
We
know.
had these big plans, man.
No, we're at a point where we were all we were
But I
all,
love her.
we're at a point where we left all
She's
the
a
broken
dog,
hearts.
man.
We left all the broken hearts behind and off we went. But no, we're at a
Is
Yeah,
that what
right.
happened?
Yeah, right.
Not really. Not really.
We
But
wanna know.
it was at a point where we were
Yeah.
available to
It was
move.
just a good,
Yeah.
good
yeah,
time.
It just had, yeah,
Everything
exactly.
lined up.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
Yeah.
pretty.
Yeah.
That in and of itself, like
Yeah.
all these things,
Yeah.
brothers,
Yeah.
musicians,
Also,
like each other, work together,
Uh-huh.
complement each other.
Like each other. Did you say
I
like
think.
each other?
if we
Seems
had
like you
waited
guys like each
another 3 or 4 months, we would never have left.
No,
You can't leave Australia now.
You can't. Did you know that there are 2 countries in the world that
Yeah.
require government permission to leave? They are North Korea,
Oh,
and
wow.
Australia.
Well, that's because that's why they don't have any
Well,
virus issues, or is it now?
They're getting more
They're
now.
getting
they're
more,
getting
but as
more.
far
Yeah.
as I
'Cause
mean, New,
people are
New
coming.
Zealand didn't do that, and New Zealand has had even less than Australia. They didn't stop their residents from leaving. Australia said you had to get an exemption to leave.
Wow.
And they
it's
deny a
slightly-
lot of the
It's slightly
exemptions.
controversial. I mean, there are people who haven't been able to see their loved ones who have passed away, and they've
Right.
been denied a reason to,
Not that we
denied
have any
exemption to
opinion
leave.
on that.
No, sorry. What was I doing? Giving an opinion on that?
What was I
Um,
doing? This isn't a
Just stick to the
political show.
clickbait.
Yeah,
Everyone's
yeah,
with you on the
exactly.
clickbait.
Clickbait. Let me sit up straight again.
Let's get back to Adele.
So anyway,
So you know Adele personally.
Yeah.
We'll use that clip. and just post that 2 seconds. What? This guy knows Adele.
We would
Like,
never have
listen to
been
the
able
whole
to leave.
2 hours ago. Ah,
Adele?
damn it! It was taken out of context. I knew it.
That's good.
New report that Ewan
Yeah.
McGregor is changing his name to Tom.
It's just in.
It's just in.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
this
we would
is
never
fun.
have got out. So as far
Yeah.
as life-changing moments,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like the other thing is the restaurant we could have bought
Yeah.
has absolutely boomed since because no Australians could travel overseas, so they all went to the destination they could go within Australia, and it's like absolute like would have been made, sort of thing. I mean, we already would have been, but even
Yeah.
more so with that.
Right.
And instead, we're on a totally different journey.
Right.
And as far as that's a good point. I think Australia is still not planning to let their residents leave for another year or something.
Yeah.
So we would never have got out.
But it's
Not
the
for a long
journey you
time.
want to be on, though.
This is it. Absolutely.
Yeah. So then when
regrets,
Even with
is that the
all the
phrase?
shit you went through.
So as far as the
Absolutely.
story goes, it kind of
That's
makes
cool,
it more
man.
dramatic when you think that we'd sold everything, and then COVID arrived like pretty much 2 or 3 months in, 3 or 4
I
months
think at
in.
our first show, we did like a Canadian Music Week sort of thing show. So we got one of those. The first show, one of the girls working for the events is like, so they're going, like, I'm blown away by how good you guys are. She said, I had other events to go to. I can't leave. I just have to stand here and watch you guys. So we got the response
Yeah.
that starting a live journey you hope for kind of thing. And then we
Right.
get other shows like one of Toronto's most established venues, Lee's Palace, which is, like the Pumpkins and Oasis play there. We play a cool show there.
Nirvana played there.
Exactly. So you're on the stage, we play a cool show there.
Have you heard of Nirvana?
You mean the Buddhist experience? I think so. Anyway, but 3 shows in, then we're shut down. So there has been some dramatic moments for us, selling everything, moving, getting a great response.
A lot
being
of the
shut
people in
down.
Toronto, like I knew a few Australians in Toronto when COVID hit. They returned home very quickly, and we were like, we sold up
Very,
everything.
very quickly.
We sold everything just a few months ago. We had a
Tails between
yard
their
sale.
legs.
We had a yard sale. God damn it, we can't go back. We told them all we were leaving. We gave them the finger as we left. We
There's
can't
no
go
going
back
back.
yet.
That's why you burn the bridge. They say don't burn bridges. Joke's on you.
So we stayed in Toronto, and as we said, we worked as movers, which was a very unusual life experience, especially
Wow,
during
It's a
COVID.
tough job.
It is.
It was
tough.
It was a tough job, and it was an unusual job
I've
to
moved
be.
like 10 people in my life. That's a lot. Well, maybe more, but
We moved
still,
that- we
that's
moved
not
that-
every day.
We moved that in a
all
week
day.
less.
That's what I'm saying.
I know.
I'm still sore.
It was a strange experience during COVID as well, because a lot of people that we knew were like in their houses the whole time, and we were out on the road driving around the whole of Toronto.
we got the eerie experience. So
Yeah.
as far as doing the
This
Empty streets.
driving the
zombie
city,
apocalypse experience.
driving the city, so Toronto's a city of 6 million, I think it is, and then we're driving a truck
in a
through
small area too.
and driving a truck through these absolutely empty streets. Like you drive a few blocks and you see one person. Like to see that in the middle, and we did that like all through the week, all through those first few weeks when it was at its most dramatic. I was like, this is really weird. So we've had it's been quite a dramatic adventure for us all the way along. Even before the car washing, it was quite a dramatic
Would you
adventure.
freak out if you saw somebody just walking like
I
a
don't think so.
zombie?
That's
It felt
kind of
normal.
common in Toronto.
Yo, did you see that? That's common. The fashion district, is that
Yeah, a couple of districts.
a couple districts?
So that was quite an adventure in Toronto. And then we were like, I think it was December, and the cold was coming in again.
Winter was coming.
Winter
around
was
again.
coming again.
I
we would say
understood
that.
phrase. Winter is coming after being in
And
Toronto.
you were like, yeah.
Yeah, we're referring
You're like,
to
let's get the hell out.
Game of Thrones,
Yeah.
obviously. Yeah.
So you got out right before the winter came?
Well, yeah,
It was already kind of there.
it was
but-
kind of there, but not the depths of it.
No, I mean, we had Christmas there, and Christmas Eve, 6 p.m. The lights are going down, and it starts to gently snow. It's like a movie, and then we wake up Christmas morning in Toronto, and there's a fresh snowfall. It was beautiful. It was amazing, and then we left and came to LA, and had New Year's in LA,
Wow.
watching the fireworks from somewhere. So it was like
2020?
Yeah, 2021. This is this year.
This is
This
20.
is this year.
Yeah,
So
You
we
just
got a white
here.
Christmas, so we just got here this
Holy shit.
January,
Yeah, so we just
and then
got to LA.
and then we've finally sort of started to establish ourselves.
So that's why basically we were a new band when we arrived in LA,
Yeah,
Yeah.
because we spent all of 2020 with no way of promoting ourselves in any way.
Exactly.
So this is so new.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's very new.
And the car washes have happened for how many months now?
Since about the end of February, March. So we started dropping
Okay.
flyers in there. So it's been a few months. It took a little while,
Great.
the initial to get the trust up. I mean, we started washing, then we just washed more and more. And
Oh,
KT, so KTLA came out. We had like 150 messages in a day to reply to, requests for car washes and so on. So like
Yeah.
you talked about us replying to you, we replied to every single one of those. And so
That's amazing, man.
There were 100
And you were fast too. I was surprised because I'm like, they're gonna get back
Well,
to me in 2
that
days.
was the thing. You messaged around the time of the KTLA piece, and it was at that point. It was like you just got to respond to them
no, he
immediately.
messaged today about a car wash. Was it today?
No.
That
That
you were
was
talking about the first one.
Yeah,
Couple
yeah.
of days ago.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
a couple of days ago.
a couple days ago.
Yeah, no. When I first, yeah, exactly. He's talking about a couple of days ago from his personal account. He sent a car wash
Yeah,
emoji.
I sent the
See,
emoji.
I'm the communications brother mostly. I reply
Yeah.
to the messages. So
So you're the one that believes and communicates.
exactly. What are you,
You
doing?
kind of
again?
you're kind of the glue.
What do you even contribute?
Yeah,
I mean,
what do
that's
you
what I'm
do,
starting
man?
to wonder right here.
Some comic relief.
Occasionally, no one laughs though.
You're clutching that bottle very tight now. This has really got to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, we tried to run it as efficiently as possible, like as a business, like communicate decently with people and so on. Even if
Right.
it's about a car, but people have respected that.
It's so important, man. How you treat people.
Yeah, they remember
It's
it.
kind of the most, people don't realize how important that is. I mean, you have to also have a product, something behind it,
yeah.
but the bedside manner is
Yeah.
probably it's actually the most important thing in terms of consumer satisfaction. Like they've done surveys about like lawyers even and doctors, surgeons, and regardless of the results of the surgery or the results of the case, the correlation was much higher satisfaction when they were being heard. They were being respected.
Yeah.
They took the time to sit with them and explain what was going to happen. The ones that didn't, even if the case went well, they're like, "Fuck them." Like,
Yeah.
that guy's an asshole. I would never use him again.
It's-
And so the way people feel when you treat them, the way you treat people is very important. That's something that can't be taught.
No,
You guys are good boys too.
I mean,
Like,
you can't
you're nice people
you
too.
can't do it with the motive to get ahead either.
Right.
Like, I mean, that it does get you ahead, but you can't do it for that. Like what you're
Right.
saying, you kind of just got to do it because okay, this is the right way to go about it, and in the end, it does build a much better business. Although it's kind of anti-Rockstar.
Right. The smartest way, I think, nowadays to build your brand or identity or whatever, if it's a company, is to merge, to understand the business side
Yeah.
and to merge it with your authenticity,
Uh-huh.
right? That's how you really catch people's attention
Right.
nowadays, because they don't want commercials. They don't want
Yep.
superficial connections. They want the real thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's become more valued in a time where things
Yeah.
became quicker and
Yeah, I was just talking to this lawyer. I don't want to say who because I don't want to. Maybe he doesn't want to talk about it, but he does immigration law, and no, he does a lot of pro bono work
Yep.
because he loves to do it.
Yep.
But also he has like a little radio. He gets radio DJs to come and know him, and get to know him and
Yeah.
see his business and talk about the cases. So then the DJs will do a spot on him. And he goes, but they're not like doing a 30-second spot like I paid for. They're
Yep.
talking about me for like 5 minutes because they were like, we were in the offices, they were helping this family,
Yep.
blah, blah, blah. So he goes like, it's all about like being genuine, but then that's part of your business and your marketing if you're smart too. Like if you're doing something genuine that's good, then put that out there. Use that as your, value forward.
the amount of people have done marketing on our behalf now, and we
Right.
had a guy who's a dentist. He's a dentist to fairly high profile people. I think Ringo Starr was one of his patients. This kind of stuff. Anyway, he met us. He said, "I love you guys. You're amazing." And so he said, "Give me some flyers." So we gave him some flyers. And next thing we know, he went and photocopied those flyers so he could give out more. We didn't even know. Someone said, "Oh, he gave me a flyer or something," and we looked at it. It wasn't the flyer we printed. He'd photocopied it. That was his enthusiasm for us that he's now handing out to other, his patients, and he's attaching his business card to it.
Here's the other thing that's you can't really record the data necessarily for is people
Yeah.
that don't get the car wash. They still see your flyer
Yeah.
and go, wow, whether it's brand recognition down the road.
Yeah.
Oh, those are those guys.
Uh-huh.
What nice guys. They may have felt uncomfortable reaching out.
Uh huh. Yeah.
So for every car wash, you're probably really affecting 20, 30 people, if you think about
We've
it.
had quite a lot
And
say that.
so you people go, oh, I got to do a free. Yeah, but imagine how much you'd have to pay for that kind of exposure.
I know. We've thought about that. How
Yeah,
much?
man.
The amount of people who've
Getting a
reposted.
great fucking deal, dude.
We've had people say to us, message us and say, I've seen you 5 different places in the last 3 weeks from different friends or places that have posted. You know how much you have to pay to get that sort of, as you say, brand recognition?
And because you're pleasant and nice, there's no downside. Like people that actually jump through the hoop, because you have to get them to send the emoji. You made it as easy as possible.
Exactly.
You just have to say car, and then
Yeah.
it pops up, and you
Uh-huh.
click it. I love that you. I thought about. I'm like, they're smart. I'm overthinking all the time, man. Trust me. But like, you make it easy, but they still have to. People are like uncomfortable. They don't know. Are you gonna hassle them?
Yep.
Is this gonna be like a
Yeah.
like a timeshare?
Yeah.
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 Like,
yeah.
Oh,
for
free
sure.
car wash.
No,
You're
no,
gonna
no,
make me
yeah.
sit here
Exactly.
for 2 hours and listen to a timeshare presentation, and they don't even want to have to like listen to you trying to, because like
We're gonna
hey,
sell you Amway.
like, how are you? Good. This is DMs typically.
Yeah.
Do you know about crypto? It's like, man, I would love to be like have a nice conversation
what is
with
it
you,
with
but
crypto these days?
yeah,
Like
everyone's
everyone's having a
doing
crypto
crypto.
party.
right.
I want to get involved in one of those.
Are you having any fun?
I got some
Everyone's
crypto.
having crypto
You got
parties.
crypto? You got crypto.
Everyone's having crypto
Hey, you got some
parties
crypto,
in
man?
the Hollywood Hills.
Everyone's got crypto, their own cryptocurrency. It's like a brand. Before they used to do like T-shirt brands or like clothing brands. Now it's like, hey man, I'm doing my own little crypto brand. What do you think?
Emperor's Night could be a cryptocurrency. Now
Yeah.
there's a thought.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But yeah, no. Where were we?
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Well, no, I wanna-
appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, there you go for it. Oh, what's he on?
But yeah, we got a lot of that. We got a few people ask us, "Oh, what's in it for you?"
Yeah.
And then we listed how much people, have wanted to support us, etc.
Right.
And like, it's like,
So it's a win. You created a win-win, which is the other principle that you have to go by. Like
Yeah.
whenever you do business, don't get sucked into win-lose. Even if you're the winner, it's going to be short-lived.
Exactly.
Then
yeah.
that losing person's going to be like, I'm never going to work with this person.
Uh-huh.
They didn't get paid or whatever.
Uh-huh.
So you got a short-term gain. What are you going to do with that?
No one who's been involved with us has anything against
Right.
it, any bad word. We haven't asked too much, we haven't pushed, we haven't done. It's like, those are the coolest guys. Yeah.
And
I think.
And I think that's the lesson I'm trying to also help other people learn if they're
Right.
watching, is like to think it through like this. Because you guys, not everyone is like as going to be as mindful and thoughtful as you guys. Probably you were like coached. I think probably New Zealand tends to have generally like well-mannered people that are,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that's something that you get trained sometimes too.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, if you're in business, remember to be thoughtful. That's going to take you so far.
It does, yeah.
And if you catch yourself trying to take a shortcut, man, that's fine if you want to try it.
Uh-huh.
But just when it doesn't work, remember, you can't shortcut this. You really can't.
We feel like we've got basically a really solid base for a business
Yeah.
here. So we've made 3,000 followers. Like, look, it's not, in Instagram terms, it's not the biggest deal in the world. But as far as like the connections
real.
and the base, and a lot of the people are pretty high profile
I
people. and
think-
they-
You can do events now with
Yes.
those kind of followers.
Exactly.
You can fill a 200-person event
Uh-huh.
easy.
Uh-huh.
That's already real money. I mean, and so once things really open up,
Yeah,
I think you
exactly.
guys should be doing.
Yeah.
I love the car wash idea, man. Like, I feel like
Uh-huh.
you guys should take it to that level, and it would be great publicity,
It
PR.
would. Yeah.
Do it for a charity too. Like,
Uh-huh.
all tips go to a charity. Hey, car wash guy, you get free advertising from
Yep.
KTLA.
Uh-huh.
We get exposure. We're doing something nice for people. We're also being nice to the people. It's
Yep.
not just the car wash and the music. We're also, hi, how are you? It's so nice to see you. Give people respect.
yeah.
Let them feel like they exist.
Uh-huh.
Well,
That's the other reason people should come get a. Seriously, people want to feel like acknowledged, but people don't acknowledge people in LA. It's such a little thing, man. But unless you're gonna do something for them,
Yeah.
well, what do you do? and they're sizing you up. And
Uh-huh.
I understand why you could fall into that, but it's short-term gains. You're never gonna have solid networks around you because everyone's gonna notice it, and they're always
Absolutely.
gonna have their eye on you
Uh-huh.
Well, I
because
think
they're like, "You trying to get something from me? Well, I'll be with you while I can use you too, and then when I don't need you, clip."
I think translating that from a business to a personal thing as well, like the giving side of it, I think most of the dissatisfaction you feel is in your life is when you're thinking about what you want or what you don't have or what you do have. Whereas if you think the opposite, like what in this situation, what can I do for someone else, or what you
And all
know,
the things you have,
you
like, wow, I
yeah.
have so much.
Yeah, or even like from a giving perspective, like doing a car wash, if you're thinking like, okay, what can I do that's best for this other person? Then suddenly you're forgetting about yourself and you're forgetting about all your dissatisfaction.
Right.
And so it's not just a really good business model, but it actually, so you don't have to do it like as some sort of cunning business plan. Oh, I'll think of other people and then I'll get a whole lot in return. You actually get a whole lot in return just by doing it that way.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But no, you're
I
right.
get that.
As far as long-term gains, I
Yeah.
think I think we're already seeing that. Like it feels very solid what we're building.
Yes,
And
I get it, man.
even like as far as the backstory, like you look back at this, I mean, it's
Plus the 3,000, I look at it as like a very solid foundation, and then
Uh-huh.
it's going to take one thing to spark that 3,000 to 30,000.
well,
and then
recently, for example, we
300,000.
had the surfer Kelly Slater. If you
Yeah.
comment on
Yeah.
one of our posts, like,
Yeah.
you know, so he's got like 3 million
Right.
followers. He
It
didn't
takes
repost
one
it, but he
video.
said epic, haha. Like when people like that, if some of them start reposting it,
We've been
You
talking
like-
about getting a tattoo that says epic haha.
and then
And then we were like, well, how
The
will
one
anyone know
that
what that
started it all.
means? So, okay, we have to put Kelly Slater's profile on our
picture
tattoo
his face next to it.
and a verified badge next to it. So
Right.
people know that it's Kelly Slater in the tattoo.
That was it. So that we're big surfing fans. So
Yeah.
we were pretty excited when Kelly Slater said epic haha on our
That's
Instagram
awesome,
post
right.
sort of thing. So,
Is
but
that
you're
the
right.
highest profile person that's...
We had Elizabeth Canales, who's an Italian supermodel. She was engaged to George Clooney for a couple of years. She got our flyer and reposted it on her stories. The only thing was she never tagged us. And so our flyer, if you see it, you can virtually not see the band name because we made it like that. There's just
Right.
a little Emperor's Night. So on a story, you could hardly see who it was. We still had like 30 Italians find it and follow us. We probably would have had 1,000 or something if she just tagged. But anyway,
Right.
so some very high profile people have liked the idea. So we know, like, as far as, and you're talking about like it, you know, expanding quickly. There's potential there when some of these other people share it, sort of thing. But
Exactly.
that's something that's out of your hands, isn't it?
Right. And it's just you trust in the process, and then
Yeah.
it builds upon
Exactly.
itself.
Yeah.
And something's happening, and you guys are getting attention.
Uh huh.
I was gonna say, like, even first of all, I was gonna say this last 4 or 5 minutes, we're gonna chop it up, and it's gonna be all clickbait.
Uh-huh.
All these Slater,
Kelly
Kelly
Slater and
Kelly
Eliza
Slater.
Benanaz
Right.
dating.
Tom
Right.
Tom McGregor.
we're just gonna have
Tom
little
Slater.
clips, like, oh, I gotta. I was gonna ask, like, can you tell us about the songs? Maybe the ones you've released. Can you like what? I love knowing. So I'll just tell you. It's funny you mentioned Adele. I've used this story before because she's not like my favorite artist. She's amazing. I went to her concert and I was shocked how great it was because
Uh-huh.
she talked half the time. I don't know if you've been to
I've
her
heard
concert.
that.
She's
No, I've
chatty.
heard about
She's
that,
chatty.
yeah.
Yes.
Unfucking believable. And I've never ever experienced it. It was like you're on a podcast. She's
Right.
talking, hey, I remember you. You were over in London. You following me around. She's
You were
talking to the
over in
crowd.
London.
Yeah, London.
You're
She's
over in
giving-
London.
Okay,
I
you
noticed,
stop
by
now,
the way,
let him
you
tell the
fall
story.
in and out of a British accent sometimes. Is that true?
Do-
Am I picking up on
I do.
something?
I think-
Sometimes.
Do I?
Maybe.
He's just been imitating Adele
Oh,
too
okay.
often,
No, I've
that's
been,
all.
yeah.
No,
I've been
before
to too
I-
many Adele
That
concerts.
might just be mine. So I just thought that was great because it's the stories she's telling. She's talking about her songs, what she was thinking, where she was. That's how you connect to the music. Like if I go to a concert and they're just singing, it's really not that fun
Uh-huh.
for me. I can listen to their CD at home. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
as
I've been to those. I appreciate, or a great performance is appreciated, but the story the backstory, the real connection.
I think a lot of what we have on stage is basically what you see here. We kind of chat amongst ourselves. We take, when we play a song, it's fairly serious. We're committed to it. In between times, we, laugh at each other, make fun of each other. We actually have discussed the idea of talking about our songs. Adele's songs are quite different. They're kind of very personal, intimate, emotional songs. Ours are a little more, I don't know, they're not quite so, they're not written from quite such a first-person basis. And we've discussed the idea, we actually don't like describing what we are thinking when we write it. Because we think that once you put a piece of art out into the world, it's open to anyone to interpret how they see fit. And then they say, this song means this to me. Who am I to tell them it means something else? So I think our music is quite different lyrically from Adele's, that I think it leaves open the possibility to have a completely different meaning for two different people. And I wouldn't want to step in there and say, and pop that bubble for them. So we don't talk about exactly what the lyrics mean.
I respect that. I totally get that, by the way. And that I love that you know that about your music. Maybe the talking is just your banter.
There's a lot we do really, like to.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be necessarily, hey, that's what Adele did. I love that.
Yes.
Even just somebody having a conversation on stage.
We do like to be fairly
versus just performing the songs and that's it. Thank you very much.
I know exactly what you mean, because I think it draws down anything that draws down the barrier between the performer and the audience and goes,
people want
kind of go, we're all in this together. And whatever, instead of being like, I'm just, look at me perform. It's kind of like, okay, I'm doing this, but we're all part of this moment together. And I think Adele's doing that in her way. She's going, okay, this is me just talking to you. We're just here and so on. I actually absolutely agree as far as a performance style and going, okay, we chat, we do this. And kind of in between songs, we might just chat about, what's he doing? He's still tuning his guitar. You wouldn't believe what we have to put in. But not kind of like just
cool.
We kind of make it up on the spot.
You're getting to know. They're getting to know your personalities.
We do. We try and share
that's
that.
The key.
And I don't have a microphone, so I can't say anything back.
It leaves us a lot of room to really pick on him. So
you just have to shout.
So I just like yelling out.
Yeah.
And then we talk into the microphone and say, don't listen to the
Is there a theme to the 21 songs, by the way? Sort
of
like a
not
relatable
really.
thing? Or...
well, we actually probably written, we've probably got completed as far as, so a completed song to us is when you write there's two different stages of completion. Firstly, there's when you've got the melody and the lyrics written. So you can play it on acoustic guitar and you call it a finished song. We've probably got like 80 to 100 of those and we've worked on them and finished them. Then there's a completed song when you've made the whole arrangement. So this is the piano piece, this is the drum piece. So we've got 23 finished songs like that. We've got like 80 finished songs that we have written over our years. So we've got a lot of material to release. 23 are just ready to go like that sort of thing. So I don't think there's a specific theme, is there?
Oh, am I talking now?
You've got a microphone. Show us what you can do. Make use of it.
No.
No, I don't think there's a thing. No, I don't think
that's all I have to say.
No. Very poignant. Yeah. How would you describe your music?
It's probably we like to call it rock. We like to claim the term rock back just to mean a broad definition of music.
Well, like back in the 60s and 70s, rock was the Beatles, rock was Elton John, rock was Creedence Clearwater Revival, rock was Alice Cooper, it was all rock.
Right.
And now rock is like, Foo Fighters or something. It's like, it's like very specific is what I think the way we look at music is like we make rock music and it's just all in that sort of general ballpark rather than being just heavy guitars or something like that. Whereas, so that's why we kind of, I've been on a personal crusade to reclaim the word rock music for just...
I was placating him by saying that because anytime in interviews I've said it's indie rock or something, he's like, why did you use that word? Why did you say that word? It's not this. So it's rock music. Yeah. Right. Influenced by classic rock.
Why limit yourself? Because indie rock does limit your...
Yeah, and indie rock's kind of like jump the shark.
Right.
It's like, no one talks, no one's indie rock.
I get it.
Yeah, just rock
music. So it's influenced by classic rock.
A
lot of instrumentation.
But a bit of probably a more modern take on it, I would say.
Modern classic rock.
Yeah.
It's a new category.
It's new classic rock.
Yeah.
So
new classic rock.
Yeah.
Kind of like that because I'm a big classic rock fan.
Okay, cool. What are your...
Eagles.
Touchstones. Okay.
Yep.
I love
the-
but like Credence. I mean,
Yep.
so many, man.
I love
it's
the
hard to
Eagles.
even say who's my favorite.
I'm assuming you've seen like at least DVD performances of the Eagles
Yeah.
live in concert.
Yeah,
Are they not incredible? How they're just perfect every time.
every time.
But
it's
it's not
a recording.
It's not
but
this,
it's not.
but it's not this rote performance either.
No.
The energy and life is in it, and
Yeah.
it's I love them so much
The
for that.
harmonies are, and they work so hard, man.
And I mean, some acts you see they do a completely different version of the
Right.
song, and it's just not that good.
Right.
Sometimes.
The Eagles like play for the audience. Like
Yeah.
you love the song, I'm going to perform it like you love it with full passion.
Yep.
But nail it every time.
Amazing,
So
man.
I'm blown away by how good their live
Yeah.
performance is.
Yeah, I've seen them live too
Have you?
on one of their like whatever
Yeah.
8 years
And was it
ago,
like that
whatever.
in concert as well?
Amazing, man.
So
Amazing.
the only thing,
Flawless.
Yeah. Flawless.
the only thing with the
Yeah.
classic rock, calling ourselves classic rock is like if you think of the Eagles, there's like that country influence, and if you think
Yeah,
of like
that's a little
Creedence,
specific.
there's a bit of that like bluesy influence.
Right, but I
We
like
don't-
Pink Floyd. I
Yeah,
like, you
Yeah.
know,
I
like
would say
Led
actually like
Zeppelin.
Pink Floyd.
Yeah,
Not that we necessarily as spacey as that, but
Yeah.
more in that style of songwriting, maybe. Not because they didn't have really like the so much of a bluesy or so much of a
Right.
country background.
super
kind of-
unique too.
It was sort of it was almost quite modern sounding.
yeah,
like
very
even
modern.
now it
they're
sounds
even modern now.
yeah, exactly.
they
Yeah,
are.
I just saw them too. It was
Did
one
you?
of the guys.
Dave Gilmour?
I don't know. I'm bad with names.
Roger
Right.
Waters.
I think it was Waters.
Yeah,
They had the
they
floating
hate each other
pig.
now.
Yeah,
They can't.
they
They're fight,
separately tour, I guess.
Yeah,
right?
they're always
There's a
fighting.
floating
It was
pig.
amazing.
Did you say there's a floating pig?
There was a floating pig with
Yeah, that's
names.
Roger Waters. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Roger Waters. It's
Yeah.
such a display. What a show, dude.
Yeah,
You get out and
definitely
see your
worth going.
shows.
I sometimes,
Mm.
not a lot, man. I'm
Uh-huh.
not that big of a concert
Right.
person, but if it's someone like
Yeah.
I think Pink Floyd would be a good one. Like
the
not-
visuals are unbelievable. Man.
Yeah.
It's worth it just for that.
They
The
were always known
spectacle.
for that, weren't they?
Yeah, the spectacle.
and
is-
also really thoughtful, interesting
Very-
lyrics.
yes,
We like
Very
that about them as well.
intelligent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very
Intellectual.
intelligent. Yes,
yeah,
that's what we relate to.
yeah. You know who I like, and I can't remember the Rush.
Okay,
I
We-
love. They're like
Well, because they're from
Geniuses that-
Toronto.
underestimated geniuses. by
we've
the way.
actually never listened to a lot of Rush because we only listened to what our dad gave us, and he didn't give us Rush, so we went.
Ah,
Like,
but
You know how I
I-
discovered Rush? Through my father-in-law.
right.
I'm
met-
just saying that I didn't really know of them.
Who's
and
the
then
lead
I'm like,
singer of
wow.
Rush? What's his name?
Geddy Lee.
I met. We
Yeah, I
moved.
didn't know his
We
name.
moved some furniture for his sister in Toronto. We walked in the house and there's like all these photos of Rush, and we're like, "Is this a huge Rush fan?" No, it
The
was his
lyrics
sister.
are very like philosophical, political, even
Uh-huh.
Okay.
very high level thinking.
Right.
Almost like too intellectual for rock, but it worked.
I like it. I like it. Like I mean, same with Pink Floyd work like
Like
that.
who else could do that but like Pink
Yeah, there's a
Floyd,
few.
because it would be like boring. You
Uh-huh.
thought they're talking about whatever philosophical ideals and like, but it works so well because the
incredibly
music
satisfying
was
when
so.
when it satisfies you on those
original.
different levels. When you've got intellectually, emotionally, and just that whole feel. When it
Yeah.
all comes together, it's an extremely satisfying experience.
Random comment, don't
Uh-huh.
know why, but do you know Leonard Cohen?
Yep.
Yep.
I mean, just because like not a lot of people, and I discovered him later in life,
Uh-huh.
but just such a genius
Yeah,
songwriter,
he's an
poet.
amazing lyricist.
Yeah.
Beautiful poet. Yeah.
Yeah. Just a great like somebody to
Actually, that-
listen to as an influence.
One of our favourite meetings was the other day. We met with a fairly high-profile New Zealand band manager. He'd worked with Crowded House. He's been in the industry for a long time.
Thought
worked
you were
with-
going to say you met Leonard Cohen the other day.
No. Sorry,
I would have been like, well,
That would've
that's
been-
interesting. He's dead.
I know.
I was just going to say anyway. He listened to our music. He came across us and listened, and we had a coffee with him. He listened to our music.
Something
and
you
he-
want to tell us? Is that why your shoes have some dirt on them? Sorry, that's
Actually, we met.
I love them.
We've got another story
We are
about that.
being
Who was it? But anyway, this guy
Yes,
said
sir.
he said I listened to your music and he said there was amazing. There was poetry in the lyrics, and we were really taken aback. Someone had sat down on the high profile in the music industry and said that to us. That was a moment for us anyway. When
Huge.
you know that someone was saying that. Talking to dead musicians, we met Fally. He's a young hip hop artist, a white guy rapper, but he's quite broad in his musical range.
He's kind of like a little bit like Post Malone.
And he's really talented. We watched his car. He's got like 100,000 followers. He's got like a cult following. He did a song with Carlos Santana. Where Santana
Oh
played.
wow, that's big.
Exactly. He's big. This guy, he's done really well for himself.
I love Santana.
And anyway, so then he told
We know him because we washed his car.
Yeah, and we washed Valley's car, and but when we were washing, he's telling us the story about when he met Carlos Santana, and he said the first thing he does, he doesn't even introduce himself, he just talks to me for 10 minutes. He tells me I talk to Jimi Hendrix every night. This is talking to dead people. Who else did he say? He had this whole story about what Santana told him, but I thought that was
So Santana told him that Santana talks to
Jimi Hendrix every night.
All right, there we've got the
in his
clickbait.
prayers type of
Carlos Santana talks to Jimi Hendrix every night.
Also, Carlos Santana, what did he do? He took a Tesla and put a Corvette engine in it.
Is that what he did?
Yeah. So he's got a Tesla because he likes the body. It's an
And he
electric
put, like, a
vehicle.
diesel-
He put exactly like this big V8 in it.
Oh, man.
So that's our dude. Look, that's Carlos Santana.
So he's a very what do they call it?
Also, 40,
Eccentric kind of guys.
yeah, 42 West were thinking of sponsoring him, but he didn't want to change his name to Tom.
Tom Santana.
Yeah, he wouldn't do that.
No. So yeah,
He's
that
not
was
the type to change his name.
No.
we were just like
No.
cool. Carlos talks to Jimmy. I'm glad to hear.
Well,
It
maybe
might
he does.
be taken out of context, right?
Yeah.
It could be.
Like
It's a
he
good
might be
story.
like, look,
Valley's
man.
high all the time.
Yeah, like Carlos might be like, look, man, Jimmy's my boy, and every night I
He
still
posted
talk
on
to him.
Instagram.
Yeah,
Like he said it like that.
Gee,
That would
the
sound
way you
more
just
like-
said it then, yeah,
Right?
okay.
That sounds more like what Carlos would say.
Maybe.
Well, maybe
And then
he
he's
talks
like,
to
dude,
Jimmy.
he talks to
Maybe he
Jimi
talks to
Hendrix.
Maybe
If
he
he's
talks to
always high.
Jimi Hendrix, but that doesn't mean that Jimi Hendrix talks back.
Right. Right.
Good point. I never unpacked this fully. We've finally unpacked this statement.
See, you assumed
See?
that he thought that Jimi Hendrix was talking back to him, but
We've
he
gotta
can't
get-
because he's dead.
I gotta get in touch. I gotta get in touch. I gotta get in touch with Valley again.
You need to
Find out what went
sit
on.
him down, interrogate him. a little.
Yeah.
Tell
No.
me exactly what happened and how high were you? You don't want to give Carlos a bad name. Let's assume Carlos.
We've disparaged Carlos
We have
heavily in a
all
podcast
the
recently, Felly.
A-listers. You know what? We don't want to make the game too easy, right?
No, we want to set some challenges for
Right.
ourselves. Here's a hurdle to jump over. Here's
Right.
another one.
Oh, you know Carlos? Never mind.
He doesn't like you. He doesn't like you.
Man. So let's. I'd like to hear some music. Maybe we
Perfect.
could.
Yeah, let's play a
I don't know
boombox
if
and
we've got. Thank you guys for coming out. I think we should do it again. We can also keep talking, so I'm not saying you should go. I'm just like making sure we don't go too long either. And I also want to hear the music.
You gonna say something? That's what stole all your space.
No.
No. A man of few words.
See why we don't give him a microphone?
Exactly. He's a loose cannon.
Better believe it. He comes home at 6 o'clock sometimes.
Right.
PM.
Can't trust this guy. I mean,
No.
anyone that arrives home late for dinner
I know.
should not be trusted. Did you eat somewhere? Tell me the truth. Is that Doritos on your fingers?
Is that Dorito dust on your mouth?
Can't trust those guys.
Yeah, we should hear a song.
Yeah, let's hear a
after all
song.
that. Yeah.
Let me grab the boombox. Bluetooth. You just mix it in. Oh, yeah.
Drummer we never had.
Lost in the flavor down Hyacinth Way. Oblique charisma, confetti day. Faded vermilion, a twilight souffle. Avuncular fence post, Edwardian gray. Now and then, like treasure spread across my table, leaves of gold from the page of ancient fable. Entitled romances surprise me,
one we filmed the video for on the hills.
Tonight, not so frightening. We say that we won't pretend. We swear that we'll make amends. And vestals in silvery gray, hold candles whose light never sways. Tangents of plenty, template inlaid, bashful exuberance, and artless charade. Wrenching suffusion through the Baltic panes, restful exclaiming, ambrosial frames. Now and then, like treasure spread across my table, leaves of gold from the page of ancient fable. And tidal romances surprise me. The touch of your hand oh so lightly, the shape of the night not so frightening. We say that we won't pretend. We swear that we'll make amends. And vestals in silvery gray, hold candles whose light never sways.
I totally see this at a car wash.
Yeah, that's
Knock him out the box, Rick. Knock him out, Rick. Knock him out the box.